Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Nonsense Retrospective. I'm your host, Rick, and joining me equally as always is my co-host, Devon. Say
Am I
hello.
am I Devon or am I Armand? In all seriousness, we will not be mocking mental illnesses.
No. And cards on the table. This is one where Devon's done a lot more research than I have, so he's going to be doing a lot of leading the charge when we come to the main thing. But
Oh yeah, we
before
kind
we
of rushed the Sinky do, so throw it to me once we've done the questions, uh, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So we're going to start with our time-honored tradition of the nonsense, asinine hypotheticals. And do you have one for me today?
I do, and it's relevant.
Okay.
You are chosen as the avatar of any mythical god ever. Anyone. Which god would you want to be the avatar for?
This is my exact same question for you.
That's fine. We could share it this time because it's a good
Yeah, we're
fucking
sharing
question.
the same one. It is a good question.
It's not limited to Egyptian, so go nuts.
Now, it's a bit of an easy one because I'm going to stray away from Thor because that's such an easy pick. He's like the god of tits and wine. So sometimes you hit things, and when you hit things, you hit them hard. But by the same token, he probably wouldn't want an avatar. He'd probably want to do it himself.
Well, it kind of depends on how the avatar works, isn't it? Because if we go by Moon Knight logic, I have no doubt that certain gods of a certain level can probably take assumed direct control, if you will.
Yes.
But obviously with Khonshu and Amit,
Amit, yeah,
and the hippo lady, whose name I forget.
Taweret, yeah, and then the other ones we see is it Ishtar and Osiris and some other ones that are jobbers.
I don't know if we see Ishtar, but we definitely see Osiris. Osiris speaks, and we've got the goddess of not wine, but poetry and arts. I don't think that's Ishtar.
Okay, fair enough. It might be Ishtar, it might not be, but yeah, the one that fills the goddess of love and fertility and all that stuff, yeah. But yeah, the one that I might actually pick then is Perseus.
Is Perseus a god?
I'm pretty sure he was, and if he doesn't count as a god, then
I'm just gonna do a quick cheeky little Google because I think Perseus might be one of those demigod motherfuckers.
Okay.
Perseus he's a legendary founder of Mycenae and Perside dynasty. He was a Greek hero and slayer of monsters, but it doesn't say he was a god. He was the guy who killed Medusa.
Okay.
So he's not technically a god. He's a Greek hero.
Yeah. Then Hermes. Then Hermes is a pretty good one.
And don't forget, in mythology, Hermes is not just a messenger god. He is technically the equivalent of Loki. He's a trickster.
Yeah. He's a pretty good one. But like the reason that he's not as much known for his trickster side is because he doesn't lean too far into it in most of the stories.
It's one of those where he's the trickster god, but he's still fundamentally on the side of the rest of the pantheon.
Yeah, whereas
Loki straight up is actively working towards Ragnarok.
Yeah. Yeah, like Loki, yeah, he is a god of magic, but he's not even the best one of those.
In Marvel, not so much, but in actual mythology, you don't fuck with Loki.
Yeah, true.
Although Loki, for a trickster god, was quite shit in the sense that his tricks always got found out because, rather fittingly, all the gods were like, something weird's going on, almost like a trick. Loki!
Yeah. So yeah, Hermes is going to be mine. So I'm going to throw the exact same question back at you, which, if I could prove that I had it written down, then I would, but I didn't. But yeah, it was the one that I got picked out of. If you had to be an avatar for a god from any mythology, which would you pick?
Well, to be fair to you, it's the go-to obvious question after watching this series.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is.
But yeah, it's a tough one. There's a lot of gods to choose from. Like, despite having this question in hand, I didn't think what my answer might be. But it's a bit of a toss-up, really, isn't it? Do I want to go fun, and fun, or do I want to go super badass with cool powers? Either way, similar theme to you. I'm definitely leaning towards Greek. It's a coin flip. It's either Dionysus, god of partying, hell yeah, or Thanatos, god of death.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Which,
Because
you know, not to be confused with Hades, who's just a bureaucrat.
yeah, he's just the landlord for the underworld.
Yeah, man, I fucking love Greek mythology.
But even then, Hades is a pretty good pick.
He's
But
good.
yeah,
He's a fine pick, but I feel like Hades is one of those gods who'd be like Osiris and be like, I'm just making sure everything's going normally. I'm not interfering. I just need to know what's going on.
and half the people that come to him and say, "Hey, can I be your avatar?" He's like, "Did you really want Thanatos instead?" Like,
Yeah, Greek mythology is cool like that, and they separate the person who's in charge of the domain and the person who actually kills shit. I mean,
yeah,
a lot of mythologies kind of do that. Like you meant, like the Grim Reaper exists, but he's not really part of anything. He's not part of Christian law or Judeo law.
no, he's just kind of something that's in the cultural zeitgeist.
Yeah,
Like,
it's weird, isn't it?
like every culture has a Reaper.
Yeah, Japan,
Uh,
like they love their Shinigami,
yeah, they do.
and we love the pink-haired DJ.
Yeah,
Um,
we do.
yeah, at gun to head, I'd pick Thanatos, I think, because even though God of Partying sounds cool, Thanatos would probably be more useful.
Yeah,
I'd also
and if
probably be
you
expected to do more work, though. So,
true, and if you want to make a story out of it, then Tamamo's also a pretty good second pick.
I don't know, Japanese gods or Shinto gods are weird, and she's technically a demon,
Oh, she's definitely a demon.
so she wouldn't be able to have an avatar.
Oh, I don't know. It's like Amit. She's a villain that's been imprisoned.
Ahmet is a god.
Yeah, but like,
Tamamo is a deep. There's a distinction between god and demon, like there is distinction between mythical hero and god. You know?
yeah, sure, fair enough. But yeah, it's one of those. If you wanted to make a story out of it, then it's reasonable. But yeah, if you want to draw the line under it, that's fine too. But yeah, I'm gonna toss over to you because this is your script today. Today we're talking about Moon Knight, mostly spurred on by the Disney show, but we've got a couple of touches um, on the comic side as well. So you've popped in your initial impressions. Um,
Yeah.
what was your initial experience with Moon Knight?
It's really weird, isn't it? Because I think with a lot of people, the initial experience with Moon Knight is the memes.
Yeah.
We've all seen that legendary panel of Moon Knight descending the stairs and going, "All right, Dracula, you big dumb bitch, where's my money?" And we touched upon that briefly when we brought it up during one of the reviews. But that picture is actually doctored. It's not real dialogue, obviously. But
Wow.
it's a bit upsetting. But pretty much any time Moon Knight is talking to people about Dracula, 9 times out of 10, it's been doctored for the lols.
Yep, yep.
But as an aside, until they announced it, Moon Knight is probably one of those heroes who I'd have put cash money dollars down on never getting a live action adaptation.
Absolutely. Like, he doesn't touch anything else in the show that he's in. Like, I think the only actual nod towards anything else in the MCU that puts it in the MCU is that they mention Madripoor, which is from the Falcon and Winter Soldier show, and B, if you look carefully, you can see a Lego piece of Bast, which is one of the gods that gives out cat powers to the Wakandans.
Yeah, I didn't know that shit. I watched Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I still think it's the hands down the best series they've done. Moon Knight's a close second at this point,
Okay.
but I didn't even remember Madripoor was a place in that.
Yeah, it's where Sharon Carter has her base of operations, and it's like one of the 3 locations in the show.
It's short, like I said, it's been over a year.
Yeah, it has. Absolutely has. Like, the whole point of this entire channel was gearing up to reviewing Falcon and Winter Soldier.
It was weird, wasn't it? Because we kind of we were like, oh, this is new and interesting. Should we do this? And then we both just decided, let's do the whole series. And then no one watched it, so we were like, let's not do whole series in future.
Yeah.
Because it also meant, because Marvel stuff comes out on a Wednesday traditionally, we had to not watch something for 2 days.
Yeah, because we were recording on Fridays. But yeah, it was one of those where we did a few episodes leading up to it. We were finding our feet. We learned the very obvious thing of, yeah, don't put the video up there, even if it's muted and reversed and all that, unwatchable.
Except
And
we still haven't had any issues with the not Kid Cosmic.
Wander Over Yonder.
Yeah, Wander Over Yonder, which shows how little Disney gives a fuck about that franchise.
Yeah, which is a damn shame because I loved that show. That was really it was a cute, cool show.
As far as I'm aware, it's still not on Disney Plus.
Oh no, that's probably why Disney hasn't bothered.
But yeah, what were your initial exposures? Because I'll go into a bit of the history in a bit, but I'm interested to see if you actually had any prior knowledge of Moon Knight.
The first time I encountered Moon Knight was in Ultimate Alliance. the PS3, Xbox 360 games.
Was that Moon Knight or was that Taskmaster?
Moon Knight was in both of them as well. It was it was difficult to unlock, but once you did, you had a melee guy with healing, which is basically all it boiled down to.
I don't think he was difficult to unlock if he was in 2, because in 2 the difficult ones to unlock were Phoenix, Hulk, and some other fucker. 4.
Okay.
Because you had to collect a bunch of shit throughout the game in order to unlock them, which means you could potentially have a New Game Plus run and still not have them.
Yeah, I think even Hulk was like a New Game Plus one in the first game. Like, you had to go through everything and obviously complete the game. And on the second time round, you could, on the mission where you help Bruce Banner, you could tell him, okay, we're strong enough to beat this thing, go do the thing. And then he's like, oh, I don't need to sacrifice myself in inverted commas anymore. I'll come and join you. And then you get the Hulk.
Sure. I'll confess something. I never played Ultimate Alliance 1. I only played 2.
Yeah, I didn't play much of it.
I played Ultimate Alliance 1 up until the end of the first mission, and then it was like, oh, Fing Fang Foom, I'm out. Who the fuck gives a shit about Fing Fang Foom?
No, like...
Marvel, before they started doing the fucking cinematic universe, that's who.
And he had the Winter Soldier as his hype man as well.
That's weird.
Like, he was voiced by Crispin Freeman, who is a fantastic voice actor, and he can put a lot of passion into his line, and he was like, you can't stop the masters of evil, because every villain team had to have a name back then as well.
I mean, if you want your team to not be considered nobodies, you need to have a name.
Yeah, it's not just fucking Dr. Octagon plus his 6 extra dudes. It's the actual Sinister Six, for instance.
The Sinister Six, like, the problem with a historical name like that is the roster changes so many times, you don't know what you're getting. Is it going to be shit? Yeah. Is it going to be good?
Well, it's a nice parallel to, like, the Thunderbolts and the Avengers, because they always change their rosters.
Yeah, but I really liked the core. I liked the Thunderbolts when they started, and they seem to have only slowly gone downhill. Like, when they started adding people like Punisher and Deadpool to the team, it's like, cool, you've now kind of warped it too much, because you're no longer just villains trying to be heroes, you're just anti-heroes,
Or even just villains who are pretending to reform and using the Thunderbolts as a cover for doing that.
Yeah, like,
you've got a couple.
Didn't they originally, correct me if I'm wrong, please do, I think the Thunderbolts originally were a parallel to the Avengers when Norman Osborn was president, and he was trying to lower the stakes of Avengers and have his own team of Thunderbolts. Like, he had Bullseye instead of Hawkeye, and everyone knows Bullseye's a dickhead.
Yeah. I think at the time, the only one that was actually taking the conversion to good guy thing seriously was Songbird.
Maybe so.
And she was a ridiculously powerful character in Ultimate Alliance too, because apparently every single note of her singing was counted as a different bullet attack. It was ridiculous. It was great. You just melted bosses.
I do know that, yeah, it was, you used to have her, Penance, and then pick any other villain character, and you had Thunderbolts, because they were real loose with the terminology in that game. And fair enough. Yeah. It's a video game, who cares? But
Penance was Speedball, wasn't he? After he decided, oh, maybe I shouldn't have been so gung-ho about using my powers. And
no, Penance is this weird dude with armor that stabs him.
Yeah, it's Speedball because Speedball is the reason that the explosion happens.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if they're the same characters in Ultimate Alliance 2, it doesn't quite line up because he's a teenager as when he's Speedball, and he's an adult immediately I'm not saying he wasn't Penance at some point, but what I'm saying is I think the Penance in Ultimate Alliance 2 was a prior one, and maybe he passed on the fucking suit or something. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, because I think I think he was a tall teenager and he went emo, and yeah, it's the thing that stabs him in the self all the time, and he
Yeah.
turns it into, because he's all about like kinetic energy and redirecting it.
Oh,
So
I can't fucking remember, dude. I remember his costume was cool.
Yeah, spiked armor.
And like
Yeah,
the quickest way you could get the Thunderbolts was to have Songbird, Penance, and then wait for Green Goblin and Venom.
yeah, which was Matt Gargan at the time.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I remember that game. I remember unlocking Venom and going, "Why's Venom got a tail? I don't like it."
Why is he 4 feet wide?
Ugh.
But yeah, enough about Ultimate Alliance 2. I apologize.
No, that's fine. It was good. Yeah. So your first exposure was Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah, it was through video games, and like you say, we've seen the memes, but the most of what I saw was video game early on.
Yeah, that's fair. That's valid. So,
Right,
is everybody ready for a history lesson?
Yeah, history time, story time.
Okay, so as I noted, I'm not that big of a fan of Moon Knight, so most of this information has been me doing research.
Yeah.
So Moon Knight's very first appearance, it's very rare that a character's first appearance in a comic, especially a Marvel comic, is their own self-entitled issue, their own run. And Moon Knight is no different. He did not start in the Moon Knight series. He started in a very obscure comic, because I've never fucking heard of this. He appeared in issue number 32 of Werewolf by Night, which was released in August 1972, which predates both of us by a fucking while.
It does and all.
So, just for a bit of context, rather weirdly, apparently there's going to be a Werewolf by Night one-off TV show for the Disney Plus coming out in October. So
that is weird.
Yeah, I discovered that while going down a wiki hole, as one does.
Yeah. Like, it's one of those where Moon Knight was shown just before the finale. Disney tweeted out, "Get hyped for the series finale," and then they deleted that tweet and re-uploaded it as "Get hyped for the season finale."
Yeah, and I even said to I remember being really bothered and replying just like, "That's one of those dumb American things," because in Britain they both mean the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. To us, it's the same words.
Yeah, if you say series 1 or season 1, people are going to be like, "Yeah, that's the same thing." But anyway, Moon Knight didn't actually get his own comic run until 8 years later in 1980, where he got his own line of comics. Moon Knight. So yeah, his origin tends to vary from run to run. If you don't know what a run is, a comic book run is like, oh, this story is 6 issues, that's a run, you know?
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. It's no different than TV series, you know, except it's in comic form.
Yeah, totally. And they do vary things between runs, like you say, and characters that are not as established are more prone to it. But then again, you've also got people like Batman, when every time there's a new run, someone goes, "Oh, let's change how Batman works this time."
One of the things I hate about Batman, and it's more of a complaint at the movies, is, and I'm not the only one who has this complaint, every single person who does a Batman movie does the same thing. We need to show the origin. I want to show the pearls landing in this specific way because it means this. And everyone who watches Batman goes, "It's Batman. We know how Batman became Batman. Can we please watch Batman?"
Yeah, like, it's one thing that I'll always praise the Robert Pattinson Batman for, is they skipped the pearls.
Dude, man, this is how offensive it is, right? And I hate using that word, but I'm going to use it. The Joker film.
Yes.
I told our 2 mutual friends before we went in, listen, as long as this film doesn't do another fucking Batman origin in it, I'll be happy, because it's called The Joker.
Yeah.
And we got 99% of the way through the film, and I was happy. And then during that final fucking riot scene, oh, it's Thomas and Martha Wayne. Oh, you fucking bitch. You fuck. How you thought you were going to get away with it. It made me... I still love that film, I'm not going to lie. But I was just like, you didn't need that. That wasn't the point of the movie.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Is it the first superhero film to get an Oscar?
I don't know, maybe. Technically speaking... Oh, okay. Here's something, a little bit of tidbit information for people listening and or watching, but I don't think we've got any current viewers. The Oscars and Academies fucking hate superhero movies.
Yes, they do.
Which means the only reason that the Joker got away with getting an award, or a nod even, a proper nod, is it didn't have much superhero shit in it. It's like, oh, look at the drama, the edgy, the illness analysis. It's a proper serious movie without that superhero crap.
Yeah. I think they even tried to submit Loki to the Academy Awards, and they said, no, because this is not a self-contained story. You even say at the end, come back for season 2, bitch.
Well, it's one of those annoying things as well, in that a lot of places have... Instead of letting superhero movies take their place with other films, because insert reason here, they go, okay, well, we can't have you be Best Picture. We can't. You're not allowed. Sorry. Here's this new category we've made just for your type of film. It happened with Toy Story. They wouldn't let Toy Story win the Academy Award. They went, we can't have an animated film win. That's fucking stupid. Here's your own special category. You could win that. Yeah, it's so fucking
feature,
It's so fucking condescending to everyone who works on those movies.
Yeah, like, it's fine to let them have best soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and best, well, for the hero movies, costume design. Not so much for 3D animation, where you can just create something that can't possibly exist, like something with detached sleeves.
Yeah. And, I mean, like... Oh, what was I going to say? The thing that rubs me the wrong way as well... Oh, fuck. I had a point, but it's gone. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It happens. Okay. Anyway, we should probably stop harping. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. Jennifer Aniston. There was an interview with her about 4 years ago that really rubbed me the wrong way. In that she was bitching about superhero movies. And how, look how many superhero movies there are. Why can't we go back to classic cinema and do this and do that? And all I could think of while reading it is, no one's stopping you from making those movies. But if people aren't going to see them, you're not doing your job well, are you?
Yeah, totally. Like, the whole zeitgeist of going to the movies now is quite often based around, oh, what's this a sequel to? And the only thing wrong with that is that everything that's a sequel to something has to start somewhere. So whenever you're starting with a new franchise, you are taking a gamble, and if the first movie is shit, then people are never going to come see the second one.
Yeah, and then you got stuff like The Irishman on Netflix that's 3 hours long. If a movie's 3 hours long, it's got to have curb appeal.
Yeah.
Which, I'm using The Irishman as an example, because even though I've not seen it, I know it was quite popular.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, what was the 1917 film? Like, that was the appeal of that to cinema buffs was that the entire thing was essentially edited to look like it was done in one shot, and may indeed have been done in one shot. Like, you didn't.
No, it was not. It couldn't have been.
Oh, it can't possibly have been. But you didn't lose focus of the main character at all.
Yeah, have you seen that film?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually really blindsided when they killed who I thought was the main character.
yeah, totally. The good-looking guy, yeah.
oh no, don't. The actual main character was better looking than he was. I'm just saying, like, I thought this was the main focus.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, the first thing I said to my mates when that film ended, I went, correct me if I'm wrong, that seemed to be one continuous shot.
Yeah. It was something that you just notice about 2/3 of the way through of,
they've not cut away.
No. You're so used to it and just programmed to just accept it that it was just weird to see things done in what was a mostly believable way.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is. But yeah, sorry, tangent aside, let's move on, shall we?
Yeah, let's shall.
Okay, that's my water system having a fit. In case you're wondering what that sound was, ladies and gentlemen. But yes, as with any character who's been around for a while, his origin has varied from time to time. That being said, there's a lot of core, like, beats that pretty much follow through every single incarnation of the story. The show did it pretty well. He got the key points. He was a mercenary. His fellow mercenary got greedy, caused a conflict between the two, which Mark Spector obviously lost. As he's dying, he finds the statue of Khonshu, and Khonshu's like, "Hey, do you want to live, bitch?" And he's like, "Sure." And that's how Moon Knight is born. Now, very interesting. The dissociative identity disorder is something that has always been a key part of the character.
Yes.
Now, here's something I do want to touch upon, and it's slightly serious, so I apologize. A lot of people get dissociative identity disorder confused with a myriad of different mental illnesses. The most obvious one being schizophrenia.
Yeah.
A lot of people seem to get them all mixed up, including comic book writers who, during certain stories, have misdiagnosed the character, even though I'm sure there's a holy Bible of notes that gets passed down. Like, don't change this, don't change that. It's like with Spider-Man. You don't bring back Gwen Stacy, you don't bring back Uncle Ben.
Yeah, totally. I think in the past it was also referred to as multiple personality disorder.
It's not been referred to that in a long time.
Yeah, like, this is like going back in the past, to the point that the word spastic was originally... Yeah, exactly. It was originally the correct term. And because people kept using it as a slur, it became a slur.
I just want to point out, DID, which is what I'm going to call it from now on, because I'm going to fuck up that word if I keep saying it, is... It's been referred to that since before 1972, which is when the fucking character got introduced, so there's really no excuse for getting it confused.
Sure.
At least as a writer. I do have a little bit of experience with said disorder, not on a personal level, obviously. But I watched a documentary ages ago, and I never brought it up on the podcast because it was kind of boring. As a, 2-minute conversation piece, it wasn't that interesting, but there's a very famous case, and I can't remember the fucker's name, but they've got video diaries of this guy having this. And he allegedly had 23 or more personalities. And I say allegedly because it's all up in the air whether or not he was just faking it. But it's one of those where he was constantly observed. So if he was faking it, the guy on another level, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's one of those.
Super chess master and able to perform to a colossally professional degree, like internally, consistently, and all that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time, people with this disorder, they have absolutely separate skill sets. You can have someone who learns an entire language, and it's only useful to one of those personalities.
Yeah. Well, this example is the guy. Actually, the initial reason why he got mental help was he raped someone.
Oh.
And one of his defense was he doesn't remember doing it, and then it became a bit of a charade in how it got sensationalized. But essentially, he had more than one person in his head, and it's like, if they're, how I was talking about the insanity plea with John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah.
In that you don't hide evidence if you think what you did was wrong.
Yeah.
Totally. You know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah. If you don't believe in your heart of hearts that the thing that you did was wrong, then you wouldn't be trying to hide anything about it.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. Whereas this guy was just like, I didn't do it. I don't remember doing that. And when they were talking to different personalities, all of them were quite angry that they got accused of such a thing, except for the one that did it, who was just like... But again, it's one of those where it's very odd, and I could totally understand why someone would think that kind of thing would be an act.
Yes.
But I don't know how you keep that up for years.
Yeah, neither do I.
Without being a fucking psychopath. Which is...
Yeah, it's another mental disorder, but one that can't be cured.
Yeah.
All a psychopath can do is learn to exhibit non-psychopathic behavior and just act.
Yeah, absolutely. So the character of Moon Knight, after that heavy topic, apologies, has always had 3 core personalities.
Yes.
And thankfully, it was up in the air until yesterday. We managed to see all 3 of those.
Yeah.
We have Mark Spector, the mercenary, Ruthless. We all know Mark pretty well. Stephen Grant, which very different from the comic book version. In the comics, Stephen Grant is a playboy billionaire of the level of Tony Goddamn Stark.
Okay. I didn't know that one.
Yeah.
But that does explain where he gets all of his money for toys, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's very it's interesting how he acquires his wealth, because what Stephen Grant actually does is he is a goddamn genius when it comes to investing money, and he takes the money that Mark makes from his mercenary jobs and he invests it like a goddamn motherfucker.
Sure.
And that's why he's constantly got a flow of wealth.
Yeah, I think it's implied in this show that it's Mark's money that can fuel Mark being able to be halfway across the world within an afternoon.
Well, it's not his money, is it? We saw it in the last episode where Khonshu's the god of the moon. You can still travel with the Batman shit.
Yep.
But yeah, and the final personality is, of course, Jake Lockley, who is, again, very different from what very brief thing we saw in the show, in that Jake Lockley is just a taxi cab driver. That's it.
Yeah.
He's not particularly violent or ruthless. That's entirely reserved for Mark. So, we'll get to it when we talk about the individual episodes, but very interesting twists that they've put on the personalities. And as for a core rule, Moon Knight doesn't actually have that much in the way of superpowers.
Yeah, like his combat is like human combat, human martial arts, using small weapons.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, the way you want to look at Moon Knight is Batman, but he's allowed to kill people.
Yeah, he's a white Batman that can kill people, and yeah, he can fly, but kind of so can Batman with the right updraft.
The most he gets from Khonshu in terms of powers is occasionally Khonshu will revive him from the dead.
Yeah, and the healing suit, isn't it?
He doesn't have that.
Does he not?
In the comics, he doesn't heal. He doesn't have supernatural healing, but I think it's a good addition to have in the show, because it means he can actually take hits and not just be goddamn I am invincible because I'm a badass.
Plus, he has to be manifesting at the time, otherwise he's just a normal dude.
You say that, but we saw him without the suit as Stephen Grant get his jaw relocated without any issue. So, doesn't even need the suit, really, or even need to be, have any knowledge of the suit. But yes, finally, before we get to the actual bulk of the review, there is one thing I want to very briefly address, and that is a goddamn legendary comic book panel at this point.
Yep.
And it's because of this comic panel I was secretly hoping for the end scene to be a Punisher cameo. It wasn't, but it was also kind of cool in its own right, so I'm not too butthurt. Anyway, it's just Punisher and Moon Knight looking at each other dead in the eyes. Punisher knows who Moon Knight is, of course he does. He goes, "Hello, Mark, you still crazy?" "Little bit. You still murdering people?" "Little bit. How's your imaginary god?" "He's good. How's your dead family?" Anyone who knows Punisher knows that is a line you cannot cross.
No. Snark to snark combat, though, between two badasses.
Absolutely. It just goes to show you that Mark Spector / Moon Knight is one of the few people who can get away with crossing that line.
Yeah, totally.
For context, by the way, the actual full page, Black Widow has called Night Thrasher and Moon Knight and Punisher to do some shady government shit. That's Black Widow's deal. And Punisher goes, "Thanks for calling me Widow, but I'm not hanging out with a nobody and an insane person." And Night Thrasher goes, "The hell did he call me?" Moon Knight and Moon Knight just straight up goes, "He called you insane."
Yeah. Oh boy.
But yeah, it's great, and I hope beyond hope that season/series 2 of Moon Knight maybe, just maybe, is the bridge that brings Punisher back to the MCU.
Yeah, because like you say, he was better when he wasn't every episode.
Oh god damn it. I was fine with Punisher season 1, but it was too much.
Yeah. And now that it's on Disney Plus, I can go and watch it. Like I could watch it on Netflix before, but I never did. So, and then it vanished for like a week, and then it was back on Disney Plus.
I honestly, if you're gonna watch any of those series, just watch Daredevil season 1 to 3.
Yeah, I've seen the first episode of Daredevil, and I've never gotten any further than that. But it seemed pretty cool at the time.
You watched a shit ton of Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Iron Fist is arguably one of the worst ones, if not the worst.
Man, the worst thing was it was my folks that wanted to watch it, and more than once they both fell asleep.
So you had to watch it again.
So I'm the only one there watching. I'm like, I can't be bothered.
I really like the actor they cast for Danny Rand, and I like Iron Fist. Iron Fist is cool. They didn't make it work.
Like the thing that they could have done to bring it like to canon is show him up in the Shang-Chi movie.
Dude, I was hoping beyond hope we were going to get Iron Fist in it.
Yeah.
Like, fuck's sake, all Shang-Chi is martial arts wizardry.
Yeah.
Iron Fist's stick is a dragon as well. It's so easy to do a crossover.
And it's the same fucking magic town that they use as well, isn't it?
It's slightly different.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. I looked it up at the end of the movie because I was convinced it was the same place, but it weren't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll accept that. Well, I'm not going to believe it, but I'll accept it.
That's fine.
But yeah, we start the season with episode 1.
Yes. I don't know if these episodes have titles. I never made note of them anyway.
Me either, because I've trained myself not to look at the titles in case the title is a spoiler.
Oh, right. You mean like The Return of the Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Dicks.
And wasn't the one for Luke as well, like Return of the Jedi, or Return to the Jedi, or some shit?
Oh, it's called The Rescue.
Oh, not that one, but the one in Boba.
Oh, I haven't got a clue. I don't remember.
Okay. But yeah, we start with Stephen Grant. And in this show, rather than being the Tony Stark billionaire, he's a happy-go-lucky English dude. He has a nice little job down the gift shop at the museum.
There's a very famous museum too.
Yeah, it's the British Museum. Is it the British Museum?
It's the British Museum. Yeah. I had to fucking go there as a child multiple times for school trips. And side note, and I wrote this in my notes, you've probably already seen it, but on seeing the Egyptian artifacts, I was convinced I was going to be cursed by Tutankhamun's curse, despite the fact that weren't fucking there.
Oh. Yeah, the British Museum, just like a gallery of things that British explorers have nicked from around the world.
Well, it's one of my favourite memes is other countries to Britain. How come you've got such cool museums? And it just cuts to Superhands from Peep Show going, the secret ingredient is crime.
Yep.
As an aside, Stephen Grant, meant to be British.
Yep.
In this. And I don't know about you, Rick. I thought he did the accent pretty well.
Yes, absolutely.
The internet, for some reason, disagrees.
Oh, okay. So that might be American people thinking that he's doing too stereotypical an accent.
Have like they seen Dick Van Dyke?
I know, right? So like when Cowley tries to speak British, she goes, "Hello, I'm British."
Oh, fuck. Oh, that hurts my ears. I've never met anyone who speaks like that, but...
No.
Yeah, I do know that's how other countries make fun of us, though.
Yeah. And I've been on holiday with someone who was in the same class as Jade Goody, and even she didn't talk like that. Although she did say the S word. It's one that you've done in the past, of sank.
Oh, have I done it on podcast?
Not on the podcast, I don't think. But yeah, there's 2 S words, And if you're from the south, you say sank, and if you're from the north, you say summit, and they both mean something.
Yeah, something, yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have to keep an ear. Oh, no, I don't like. I've never said saying, have I?
Sank, sank, sank.
The only reason I know I have a bit of an accent is one, someone random stranger took the piss out of me for it once on one of my YouTube videos, and I was like, okay, didn't know I had an accent. That's cool. And the other time was when I was in college. I said, "Oh, for fuck's sake, the water is everywhere," and I'm emphasizing so you can tell which word I fucked up on. And for the rest of the year in college, everyone would go water to me while missing the T.
Yeah, we call it water.
Ay. Accents are dumb.
Bloody water everywhere.
Oh, fuck's sake. Yeah, I got.
It's because you knocked it over. My cousin said that once. He knocked it over, and the dad, my uncle, says, "Over? That's what bloody flies do."
Great.
So we even got the piss taken out of us for our own accent in our own territory.
Yeah, makes sense, man. Well, I've said this story on the podcast before, but like, it's really embarrassing when you're in Japan and someone speaks the Queen's English to you, and you're like, "Oh fuck, I feel common as shit right now."
Yep. Yeah, because here's the thing: people tend to learn a language with a correct accent, as it were. They try and learn it to some degree of, well, to some standard at least. Like when you're learning French, you're learning like Parisian French, not like corner town somewhere get really lazy French.
Yeah, except the only French I've ever learned wasn't even from my French lessons as a child. It was from fucking Only Fools and Horses. So you got some fucking London accent from Del Boy Trotter going, "Oh, merci beaucoup," which I'm sure if you said to a Frenchman would be like, "I think they said thank you very much, but they sound like a twat."
Yeah. Absolutely.
Although, by the way, for anyone watching who's not in England, one of the best jokes that was just constant throughout Only Fools and Horses is Del Boy would always say hello by saying au revoir and goodbye by saying bonjour.
Yeah. And the other one, just to try and inject some French into it, is just be mange tout.
Like, it's such a dumb, simple joke, but it was funny consistently.
Yeah.
Especially when they actually went to France and he tried chatting up and I'm using air quotes, a French bird, but it was actually an English woman, and she actually believed he was speaking French properly because she didn't know either. Hey, Moon Knight.
Yeah. So Stephen Grant works at the British Museum. He wakes up mid-mission with his broken jaw.
I think we skipped a few notes, but sure, yeah.
Well, he's into the Egyptian lore. He brings up with his boss that the Pantheon is missing some members. That they're trying to advertise an Egyptian exhibit about the Pantheon, and there's like 5 members on it. He's like, actually, yeah, there were a couple more.
Yeah, but also at the same time, I cannot stress this enough, and anyone who's been in a similar situation to me and Rick can probably also emphasize, it's too real how they portrayed the hell that is retail.
Yeah.
We've all had that boss.
Getting punished with inventory. But to her credit, she was also there taking inventory with him.
Yeah, but she was still a cunt about it.
Yeah.
Like when you're bottom rung in retail, and trust me, I've been bottom rung in retail for a while. There is a certain breed of manager, not all of them, but there's that one type who takes it as a free pass to treat you as non-existent.
Or, at best, a slave.
That don't work on me. If you've been in retail for more than a year, you learn to not take shit.
No.
If you take shit, they'll keep shoveling it on until you break, and then you're out. Which people want to be out of retail, obviously, but if it's your only career path, then that's all you got.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
The person will not be watching this, but they know who they are.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Everybody in that situation knows that the retail worker is easily replaceable, and that's part of the problem.
Oh, 8 years, mate.
Yep.
Cannot easily replace that unless I take a shit on the floor.
Okay, well, you can't replace 8 years of experience, but you can replace a person that does the thing.
What I'm saying is, like, you can make up any number of bullshit excuses for someone who's just started working there or been there for a small amount of time. At 8 years, you have to actually do something egregious to get kicked out.
Or the other way around. They force you out by making you want to quit.
Oh, I had a manager who tried that. Ugh.
Once.
Well, he fucked up because he fucking ran someone's foot over with a forklift. So, you know, who's the worst employee? Oh, by the way, a forklift he was not licensed to drive.
Oh, yes, you get that a lot. When I was working in a packing factory, all of the under 25s wanted to have a go on the forklift because it was the most interesting thing in the entire factory floor. None of them had the license for it.
Wow, how'd they get the keys?
The keys were just somewhere. Like, they were in a known location. You could just go and get them.
That is poor management.
Yeah. But, you know, end of the day, the work got done, apart from the time that one of them misaimed and perforated a 1-ton bag of powder rather than the pallet that it was on.
Now, you see, if I was the person responsible for that, I'd be like, oh, I'm going for my hour break.
Yep. So this bag of shit just went everywhere. It's basically just synthetic hemoglobin, and when you got it into your clothes, it was like black powder until it touched moisture, and then it turned blood red because it was essentially like.
Yeah, I wasn't sure I heard you correctly, but I was like, hemoglobin, isn't that blood?
Yeah, it's the stuff that makes oxygen stick to it.
Yeah.
It was meant to be a soil additive to get oxygen into plants. And I was going home on the bus, and I looked like I'd murdered someone because it was summer, and I started sweating, and it turned this black stuff into, like, literally red.
One of my favourite things is back in the 90s in WWE, we're really getting off topic, but I don't give a shit. There was a trio team called the Brood, and their gimmick was they were vampires.
Okay.
And what their leader, Gangrel, would do to who he was feuding more often than not was give someone a bloodbath, which is the lights would go out, you'd hear a splash, and then when the lights came back on, the ring and the person in it would be covered in blood.
Yep.
And everyone would be like, oh, they're covered in blood. Oh, by God.
Oh.
And Edge recently returned, and he gave someone a bloodbath, which is Gangrel's gimmick, but he was part of the Brood, so it was fine. It's not infringement. And they're PG now, WWE. That's their gimmick.
Okay.
Which means they can't say the word blood. Also, they can't use blood. So instead of being blood, it was just black.
Paint. Oh, black.
And instead of red. And yeah, they covered the person in this. And on the commentary, oh, he's covered in viscous fluid.
Oh, no.
That's like...
That's worse. That's like bile.
Yeah, but it's like... Oh, we can't say blood. Oh, it's viscous fluid. It's like, oh,
Nobody
no.
knows what blood is. Like, if you've gotten to age 5 not knowing what blood is, then you have lived such a sheltered life that you're never going to be a human being.
Oh, it's not that. 5, not so bad. 10, yeah, I agree, but 5.
Yeah.
Like, parent, you're not going to make it to 5 without bleeding. Yeah.
No.
Have you ever met a toddler? They're dumb. You can be the most overprotective parent in the world. Your kid is still going to run into a wall at least once.
Yeah.
They've just discovered running. What do you think's going to happen?
It's like walking, but I can get to where I want to be faster. And I have more energy when I get there. So what am I going to do? I'm going to run back as well.
I miss having that amount of energy, that amount of courage in my life. I've just discovered this new thing. It makes me move very fast, and I have very little control because I'm a toddler, but I'm still going to do it.
Yeah. But also, you don't have as far to fall. So if you do trip over and eat shit, then, like, you're not going to bite your tongue off with the impact.
I also feel like your bones are softer.
When you're really little, yes.
Maybe not by running age then, but you know.
But, like, yeah, you've got a higher concentration of just cushioning rather than just...
You've also got less bones, haven't you?
I think you do, yeah.
So there's less of a chance of breaking.
Like you grow additional bones as you get older, I believe. Yeah, like especially like foot bones because there's like a million of them.
And this conversation is now making me uncomfortable because now I'm really aware of my skeleton. Do you know what I mean? No.
That's a quote for the ages.
You never get that?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of the time, I just not skeleton in particular, but like a lot of things just make me feel really mortal.
I can hear my
Like,
bones.
oh, I can hear my bones all the time, but like when like someone will show like I don't know a picture of Jesus with the thing through his hands, and I'm like, okay, that's just all the time. But then they'll get really visceral with it, pull the thing out, and like, oh, okay, I can see through to the other side.
Stop.
I can see all this viscera.
Stop.
Now I feel mortal.
Stop.
Yes.
It's
yes,
not even
yes.
about feeling mortal. I see injuries and I go, oh, that would feel bad. Oh, I can feel it.
Yeah, yeah.
Watching Hannibal was a chore because of that.
You can't see it, but my hands are now trembling because I'm now also feeling mortal after just describing it.
Oh.
Oh well.
Moon Knight, he's immortal. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Stephen sets his jaw, like you said in the early stages, after he wakes up in the middle of a field.
We do get quite the comical shot of the guy in the window giving him a wave back.
Yeah.
And then his friend giving him a fucking punch and going, what are you doing? We're meant to shoot this motherfucker.
Yeah, because he doesn't know. He doesn't know that the guys are there to, murder him, or he's there to murder them, and they're there to defend themselves. But nobody's a good guy in this situation.
Oh no, like he is, because considering what Harrow is doing.
Yeah.
Grand scheme of things, like Moon Knight is arguably on the side of good, even though he uses ruthless methods.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, we don't get the Mark segments at all early on.
Yes, because, and it annoyed me later on when they did it with other segments, but it's a very good trick that they're using.
Yes. Where we're getting the point of view of the one character that we're meant to empathize with.
Yes.
And we learn pretty early on to empathize with Stephen because he's cute, basically.
Listen, if you're not won over by Later's Gators, you're not human.
Yeah. Later's Gators.
It's fucking adorable. All right, fucking, we'll get it over early and early. Yeah, we'll get it over with early. There we go. That's English. Fucking kudos to Oscar Isaac. He's not the first person in the world to play multiple characters in the same show. But there's times when he seems like a different person when he's Mark as opposed to Stephen, which is the point. I get it.
He just lets his face just kind of slacken off and look more innocent. Like, it is a very nice way of portraying multiple people in the same body.
And even later on, when we get that one scene of Jake, he looks insane.
Yes. Here's a fun one. Whenever you see both Mark and Stephen in the same shot, sometimes, like if you don't see them face on, you see like one of them from like behind, like cheek and nose. That's his brother.
That's cool. That's good. That's an awesome thing to do.
Yeah, so it's Oscar Isaac's brother using a prosthetic nose.
Sure. No, that's great. Yeah.
Two
birds with one stone. Congratulations, you got your brother a job, and also that makes this effect real easy to do.
Yeah.
It's like how whenever there's a Tom Hanks character in a video game, it's voiced by his brother. Because Tom Hanks ain't gonna do that shit.
No. Not for the price that the video game's gonna be willing to pay for. But yeah, we get little snippets of another life cropping in here and there after the whole mission that happens and goes wrong and all that. Like the goldfish.
I do also want give a quick shout out to Conchu, always talking mad shit about Stephen while Stephen's in control.
Yes. Oh, it's the buffoon.
Just constantly giving him shit. But yes, about the fish and stuff. I definitely put it in the notes, and that is, I do appreciate that even in the first episode, we've got so much evidence that Mark gives a shit about Stephen.
Yeah, he wants Stephen to have a not so much an easy life, but a quiet and pleasant life.
He does his best to not fuck with it in any way possible. Like, it's very clear that his fish dies overnight, so Mark tries incredibly desperately to find a fish that looks exactly the same.
A nice callback to last week's, well, not even last week's, and a nice callback to the Xanathar part of the D&D.
That's
talk.
that's not out.
Yeah, it's not out yet.
People aren't gonna know what you're on about.
Apologies, people.
Zip it, zip it,
Zipple, zipple.
But yeah, like, and obviously he goes through painstaking work to avoid stepping in sand to get out of bed, and he puts himself back in the ankle thing so Stephen doesn't suspect anything.
Yeah, because Stephen has woken up in the past, like, miles away from home, not knowing how he's gotten there, and just thinking he's been on a fucking sleepwalk.
Yeah.
Apart from the one time he woke up in Manhattan or whatever.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that in episode 6, I suppose. But the thing is as well that he misses days at a time without realizing it. Could you imagine fucking living like that?
Oh yeah, it's rough. Like, he misses a date because he's missed like entire 2 days in between.
It's like it was like last I checked, Saturday still comes after Friday. Yeah, that might be so, but it's Tuesday.
Yeah. It's tough. Oh, also he's vegan.
Well, is he?
Until he's not anymore.
Oh, my days. My heart really felt for him when he was in that real depression spell of, I guess I'll have a steak, yeah, innit? What steak would you like? Oh, the best one.
The best one.
And I'm like, oh, you're being so precious, you fuck.
Yeah. But yeah, we get introduced to Arthur Harrow. And that's Ethan Hawke.
He appears to be ginger in the comics.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't know. Like I say, we've not. Well, I've not read the comic.
I didn't click on the link because I was like, if I don't go down this link, I'm going to spend all day in a wiki dive on Moon Knight villains, and I don't have the time for that. But I looked at the picture next to the link, and it's like, oh, Arthur Harrow is apparently ginger in the comics. But yeah, Harrow's a real fuck, and yeah, he's played by Ethan Goddamn Hawke, and I flipped out when I saw Ethan Goddamn Hawke, and I went, that's Ethan Goddamn Hawke! I've seen him in a few cowboy movies, and he's always good in them.
Yeah. And he does some really good cult leader stuff. Like, his entire shtick in this is he is a cult leader.
Yeah.
And he does a real good job of portraying the cult as a place that a normal person might want to be in.
In his defense, if you're a good person, or, never destined to do anything evil or vile, it's a pretty good place to be.
Yeah, totally. Here's the problem, that he has this entire cult of these people, and they do end up doing murders and all that. So...
Yes, but it's murders in the name of good. So that makes it okay. Here's the problem, right, with the bar. We don't know what the bar is.
No, we don't.
All we know is the bar is, if you're destined to do anything evil, then you're fucked. But who defines evil? In this case, you have to assume it's Amit, but we can't speak with Amit, so we don't really know. And in fact, we learn later on that Amit seems to claim that her and Khonshu have the exact same values, but Khonshu disagrees heavily on that.
Yeah. Amit thinks that the only difference is that she wants to punish things before they happen, whereas Khonshu is like, okay, you say that, but destiny can change, and choices can change. You need to let people have the choice, and sometimes the choice is to do good. Like, we see the fallout of this in the... Okay, we'll get to it in episode 6.
We'll get to it when we get to it, but like Khonshu does point out Amit's immediate hypocrisy in that Harrow is not balanced, and yet she's choosing Harrow as her fucking avatar, so...
Yeah.
It's one of those where you can't have it both ways, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Is it episode 1 where Harrow confronts Stephen really early on?
It's episode 2. Episode 1...
Episode 2 where he does that, okay. He just sends the jackal after him.
Yeah, episode... Oh, yeah, okay, he kind of confronts Yeah, he does actually have a face-to-face with Stephen. You're right at the end, just before the jackal. But he has the real conversation with him in episode 2.
Yeah. Okay, so episode 1, they do the scale reading.
Yes.
And he says, the scales can neither balance nor not. So this is like a void judgment.
Yeah.
I can tell that there's a lot of chaos within you. And then he sends a jackal after him.
To be fair, he doesn't send the jackal after him until he runs away.
Yeah.
Although that's not really much of a consolation, I suppose.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's It's nearly it for episode 1, because at the end of episode 1, they lock themselves into the toilet.
Yep. And Stephen has a conversation with Mark for probably the first time.
Yeah, through the mirrors.
Yes. Which is a good effect in and of itself, if a bit generic.
Yeah. And we get the first shot of Moon Knight manifesting.
Beating the ever-loving shit out of this jackal.
Yeah.
The ending shot of Moon Knight just standing up after killing this beast is the shot where I went, okay, yeah, this looks good and I want to see more.
Yeah, that's the shot that sold my folks on it as well. Because until then, it was just basically here's a cute little guy who does stuff, and like there's no superheroes in the superhero movie yet. Even though, it's not a movie, but you know what I mean.
I mean, might as well. Once you've had 2 episodes, that's movie length.
Yes.
But yeah, like anyone who knows Moon Knight knows that something was gonna, that they're setting up the personality that's not Moon Knight, even, and
yeah.
And they did a really good job.
Yeah, they made us care about the B-side, as it were. Like, we don't know that he's the B-side until later, unless you're a fan of the comics and you know it already.
I knew about Mark's 3 personalities, at least the main ones. By the way, he has more than that from time to time, depending on who's writing him. But he always has at least the 3.
Yep. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of episode 1.
Yeah, let's move to episode 2 then, I guess.
Yeah. Stephen learns a bit more about being Mark Spector.
Including finding a goddamn gun and passport.
Yeah. And a phone.
Oh, that comes beforehand. He finds the gun and passport when he goes to the storage locker.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, the first thing he finds the phone in his house.
Yes.
With a load of missed texts and calls from Layla.
Yeah, and he's like, it's so adorable when he phones her up and goes, hello?
And she thinks he's bullshitting her.
Honestly, don't blame her.
Absolutely not. Because he's been gone for however long. Wanted to divorce her, and basically he needs to sign the divorce papers to finalize the divorce.
That's a fucking real life scenario for a lot of people.
Yeah. And he gets to the storage locker, which is conveniently mirrored.
He probably has it mirrored because Mark probably foresaw this happening potentially at one point.
Maybe so.
Or it might not have been Mark's doing, it might have been Jake's.
Yeah, possibly.
But we know that even by the end of the series, Mark and Stephen don't know about... They probably suspect there's a third personality because they still chain themselves to the bed. But, yeah.
Yeah, and they both know about the thing in, episode 3 and again in episode 6.
Yeah, they know they blacked out, but they don't know what happened. But
they both know they blacked out, and they both know that murders have been happening since.
It's kind of weird, isn't it? Because you'd think there'd be a conversation with Layla after episode 6 to say, yeah, so what exactly happened? Because she saw it.
Yeah, and she basically just looks at them and goes, what the fuck?
But yeah, we'll get to those.
So yeah,
this episode is mostly set up, and you can't blame them. It's episode goddamn 2.
Yeah, we see the CCTV footage as well of the jackal attacking him in the museum, and it's just him running through the museum on his own, and things falling over.
Did I write the thing about JoJo?
Yeah, you did. They work on stand logic.
Yeah, kind of makes sense because stands are kind of Egyptian anyway.
Oh yeah, like the original ones are anyway, aren't they?
Yeah. All the second generation. I don't know, man. Stands are weird. But if you do not have a stand, you cannot see them. The user must be nearby.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Like, I know very little about JoJo.
Listen, if you see a stand out in the wild and you're a stand user, you're just like, there's a stand. The user must be nearby, and that's the meme.
Okay.
But then the meme is actually, it could be anyone, and it's like a game of Spot the Protagonist. It's like you got a bunch of generic looking people. Here's this guy with a wild hairstyle that's red. And it's like, I
Yeah,
wonder who
yeah.
the stand user is.
And he's doing everything in his power to contain his nipples while the rest of his chest is bare.
Nipples. What are we talking about? Yeah. Yeah, interesting. And obviously we get the first sign that at least... How can Stephen have had this job for so long, considering he's missed days at a time from time to time, and not had at least a conversation with HR to say, is everything okay?
Yeah, and it seems to be the straw that breaks the camel's back that he broke the toilet.
To be fair, it did get fucked.
Yeah, he fucked up the entire toilet block.
Like, it weren't one toilet. Like, the other day when I was at work, shall I even tell this story? Yeah, fuck it.
Did someone blow up the toilet at work?
Yeah, that someone was me.
Okay.
No, I don't like shitting at work because my shits are vile.
Yeah.
As most people's shits are. And I was halfway through my shift, and I'm in the middle of doing something, and I'm like, bit of a pain in my stomach. And I went, I'll power.
Gut is happening.
And I'm like, I'll power through this. It goes away, and then it comes back about 5 minutes later, and I go, nope.
Yep.
Leave the shop floor, go upstairs. There's a person in the bathroom, and I'm like, oh, I hope you go away in like a minute. I go to the stool, I sit down, and I hear the door open and close, and I go, thank fuck. Do my business, and yeah, I never want to shit in a public toilet when people are around.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's a normal thing sometimes for people to be a shy pooer.
I'm not shy. I don't care. If I need a shit, I need a shit. But yeah. I remember when I had a dump at your house.
Yeah.
And it was late night, and we'd been living on takeaways for about 3 days, so everyone was a bit disgusting. And yep. I remember it was it was a very loud farting noise as I was letting go, and Chris was walking past, and he just went, nice, and I just started laughing, so I'm laughing, and then my arse is going in time with my laughter, and it was the funniest shit ever. But it's fine. I don't give a shit about shitting and people I know hearing me. People know everybody poops.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just I work with these people, and I don't want my standing to be lowered for no reason.
No.
Because I work with teenagers, and teenagers are dicks.
Yeah. And, well, they're also the ones most likely to laugh at farting and shit, so...
Very fair. Anyway, that's a tangent about me needing to poo at work. And why I don't poo at work if I can help it.
That one time you did a poo. Yeah.
Seriously, I'll give myself a pat on the back if I poo at work, because I'm like, that shit's intense.
Yes. But yeah, this is the one where they have the chat in the village as well, isn't it?
Yes, and the two dodgy coppers are sent after him.
Yeah, Harrow's got this entire village of cultists.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like this super socialist paradise. And he tells the story about, oh yeah, we can get Amit to judge people before they do evil. And Stephen goes, yeah, but what about kids?
I mean, yes, it's one of those where like it's a fundamentally good trait of even children. It's like even children, if they're gonna do evil, then they need to go. And it's like, yeah, no, I ain't all right with that. And I think that's exactly what he says.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting thing in that in Marvel does this or not, in which they take mythology and they basically warp it into a way that they can tell a story. And correct me if I'm wrong on this one, because I'm not well adept in knowledge when it comes to Egyptian gods. It wasn't my passion, as it were. I much prefer Greek, Roman, Norse, Chinese to a certain extent, but that's less mythology and more history, but whatever. Anubis is the actual person with the scales who judges. He puts a heart on the scale. If it's a bad one and it doesn't outweigh the bullshit, does it not then get... I think Amit is the giant croc, and the only reason is because I saw the design of Amit now. Pretty sure Amit is the giant crocodile that bad hearts get fed to if they're not good enough for the afterlife.
I think so. I think they're glossing over Anubis in this.
Oh, well, they have to, because, again, they've given Amit the scales, and Tema, Hippo Lady, is...
Yeah.
Well, she's basically the equivalent of Sharon, isn't she?
Yeah. What I think people were theorizing is that there was a big old theory that Harrow wasn't just an avatar, he actually was Anubis.
Except he wasn't an avatar at all.
Yeah, he was a human. But before the final episode, where it was just... it wasn't so much revealed that he was just a human, but they just went the entire episode and squashed the theory.
For what it's worth, I would never have bought that as viable.
Sure.
I didn't even hear that one crop up, and I've been on the Marvel subreddit.
Yeah,
which I now have to avoid until midnight. Don't spoil Multiverse of Madness, people. Don't be a dick.
No. Well, I think we should pop a thing in that it's also spoilers abound. Like we've talked about basically episode 1 and 2 already.
It's in the description.
Yeah, fair enough.
If you don't read the description, sorry, but you should read descriptions. What can I say?
Yep. And yeah, Layla pops in. She starts on the motorcycle. She's her own little badass, and she's a fun character to have around.
I don't remember there being a motorcycle in episode 2, but it has been 4 weeks.
Yeah, fair enough. I know there's a motorcycle early on, at least.
Sure.
And yeah, she goes through the motions of, yeah, here's your divorce papers. This is what you wanted, right? And Steven's like, I'd never divorce you. And that really fucks with her, and she makes her really angry, and rightly so.
Yeah, but also Layla's pretty quick on her feet, and she quickly finds out that Steven is telling the truth and is not Mark.
Yeah, especially since Steven's interests line up with Layla's, like, very closely.
We don't find that out until a bit later, though.
Do we not? I thought this was pretty much now.
No, in this episode, they pretty much spend the entire episode fighting for their goddamn lives.
Okay.
I think there's a brief moment. Actually, you might be correct. There might be a brief moment where Steven is gushing when they're in Harrow's man cave.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of Egyptian artifacts, and he's like, oh, that's blah, 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 blah. And Layla's like, focus. Because we're going to... And then she's like, summon the suit, Mark. Or Steven, whatever. And then they can't.
Yeah, you get the shot of Steven summoning his own suit.
That's not until he's thrown out the window.
Isn't that this episode, though?
Yeah, no, I know, but it doesn't happen right there and then, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, he gets thrown out the window. He does the superhero landing, damn near breaks his leg, but thankfully the suit is now manifested and he can heal it.
But the best part is he's like, oh,
falls over as well, doesn't he?
I'm real dapper in this suit, as he looks in a mirror, and Mark's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and his defense is, I was told to summon the suit.
It's a good justification, and this is a suit that is from the comics. It's when he's masquerading as a Mr. Knight. But yeah, it's a good costume, and I do like the idea that depending on who manifests the suit, depends on what it looks like.
Yeah. Like, I like the suit, but the head just reminds me of Deadpool all the time. Like being that angular and hugging to the face, while also being clearly thick.
Yeah, I get you.
And then having obviously the white eyes. It's not something you get quite so much with Spider-Man because he's got a lot more things going on with his head. But,
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's one of those where it's a good design. I like it. I get where you're coming from, but like I don't think you can really criticize it for that because there's a lot of superheroes who have that kind of design for their mask.
It's not so much a critique as something that I noticed.
Yeah, fair enough. I also don't think it holds a candle to actual Moon Knight's outfit.
Oh, totally. Like, there's something iconic about, like, specifically the Widow's Peak on the hood.
Yeah.
I think that is, like, the most iconic part of the design.
Yeah. It's a good design. There's not much else to say.
And I think the second part that's iconic is obviously turning into a big letter C. I
I think it's dumb, but it's fine. It's great. It's comic shit. I do like how Steven manages to get one good punch in on the beastie before tagging out.
Yeah.
Like, even just before he tags out, Mark goes, "Okay, that was a good punch. Do you want to hand it over to me now?"
Well, it's good because it lets us know that he's not completely defenseless, even though he should be protected. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for episode 2.
We end the episode with the knowledge that Harrow now has the scarab and he's pissed off to Egypt, and we end this with an awesome shot of Cairo.
Yes. And the scarab was in the museum, wasn't it?
No. Steven/Mark just had it on them during that scene.
Okay.
Where they first, where he wakes up during the fight, and then he tries to give it to Harrow, and then Harrow, obviously, he doesn't do it because, can't you?
Yep. Then Mark makes him punch himself in the face or whatever. Which seems to be a general thing of Mark being able to take control of one fist to be able to punch Steven in the face.
Which is not how that fucking mental illness actually works.
No, but, you've got to have some kind of breaks from reality.
No, that's fine. I just wanted
to the cinematic side. Yeah,
just want to say, for the sake of the audience, I'm glad that later on with the episode 4 and 5 stuff, they show how fucked up this mental illness is in an attempt to curtail people going, look, I've got so and so, because there's always that problem of glorifying this kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It should, your takeaway should be, man, this would be real fucking rough to live with, not, oh, that's awesome, I wish I had that. But yeah, I just wanted a little PSA halfway through our episode, probably, seeing as we're on episode 3.
Yep. So yeah, we're into episode 3. We do see, like you put in the notes, we get the first hint of Jake Lockley being in there somewhere.
I was so excited. Oh, because as soon as it cut away and then the fighting was done, I was like, they've done this before.
Yeah. Like we've seen the character that we're focusing on lose control, lose focus, and then they cut back to when it's done. We've seen that happen, but now we're following both Mark and Steven, so it's like, something has happened. Something has changed.
Yeah, one of the interesting things, and I think I briefly touched upon it during the history discussion, is in the comics, Mark Spector is the most ruthless personality. He is the mercenary. He gets shit done.
Yes.
And it's a nice little play with expectations for people who know the character, that Jake is actually the most fucked up one.
Yeah. The one that actually just goes and does murders rather than mercenary work.
Also, speaking of just doing murders, holding the dude over the fucking edge, and Khonshu just goes, "He'll talk. I thought he'd talk." It was so fucking funny. It shouldn't have been as funny as it was.
Yeah, the guy's like, I'm not gonna talk, and I'm not gonna be held by you, and he just goes praise on it and just slashes his tie. Or the scarf, or whatever you want to call it.
I think it was more of a tie than a scarf, but
yeah.
As an aside, they focus a lot on Egypt in this show, and congratulations, Egypt's got their first superhero on the big screen, as it were. Oh, they don't get to see Multiverse of Madness.
Oh no,
because of the big gay.
Ah, yes.
I don't even know who the gay character is in the movie, but we know there's a gay character in the movie because it got first banned in China, and then a bunch of other countries went, we don't want this gay shit, because they're cowards.
Shame. Well, if they wait for it to come on Disney Plus, then they can use a VPN, but until then,
it's still fucked.
It definitely is. Like, we don't condone it as human beings.
Nah, I for one am a fan of the gay shit.
No, what I mean is we don't condone the censorship and going against it.
Oh yeah, you know what I meant.
Yeah.
But the another thing as well is, and I'll bring this up now, seeing as we're talking about controversies. Bunch of people on the subreddit throwing bitch fits over.
Oh yeah,
Gone.
I heard about this when Harrow was talking about like things in the past that has happened as like big old genocides and things like that, and he brings up the Armenian Genocide.
Oh, that was real early on. Yeah, I forgot about that. No,
Yeah.
that wasn't Reddit's throwing a bitch fit. That was Turkey throwing a bitch fit.
Yeah, Turkey threw a bitch fit because he didn't even say when the Turkish killed a bunch of Armenian people. He
No,
just says,
because you can't even say Armenian genocide because it didn't exist according to Turkey.
yeah, but like the fact is, Turkey knew that's exactly what they meant, and that's why they threw a bitch fit.
No, you can't say the word Armenian genocide because it never happened. Full stop. That's what Turkey's stance is. Obviously, that's bullshit, but
yeah,
we're never going to be big enough to matter. We'll say what we fucking want. And even if we were big enough to matter, I don't think we care about our Turkish audience. Or at least not the Turkish audience that thinks the Armenian genocide never happened. But anyway, no, this is a more recent bitch fit in that a Jewish audience complains because Mark's Jewish faith is not explored as much as his Egyptian background. Sorry, not his Jewish faith, his Jewish background, because the character is Jewish, they're correct. And they like to draw parallels to Daredevil and how Catholicism is a big part of that character. And they address that a lot in Daredevil. And Daredevil has 39 episodes.
Yes. Yeah, this has 6. Like, we see that his family have, like, the little skull cap on to denote that they're Jewish at the funerals and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically what we see about, yes, this character is meant to be Jewish.
Like, it's one of those, man. It's, they have clearly decided to focus more on the Egyptian aspect, because of course they have. It's more important to Moon Knight. Not Mark Spector, but Moon Knight. And even in the comics, they don't really dwell on it that much, about the Jewish background.
Yeah, there is some kind of conflict between having a faith and having one God for your faith, and then living in a world where there are other provable gods and you've sworn yourself to one of them.
Oh, you can't show off the Jewish faith part when he's literally serving as the avatar of a different god.
Yeah. And like a big part of like Jewish law is, oh yeah, we had to fight, bleed, and die to get out of Egypt.
It's also in Christian law.
Yeah, but it's the Jews that did it.
Yeah, I know, but it's one of those weird things, isn't it, where Christianity is just Judaism, but we've got Jesus. I say I'm using the royal we because I don't believe in that shit.
Yeah.
It's just the shit that was drilled in my head as a kid, because good old C of E.
It's one of those, like, if everybody believed in Jesus, they wouldn't be Jews anymore. They'd just, or rather, they wouldn't be Christians because they'd just be Jews.
Huh?
Like, there wouldn't be 2 separate faiths if there wasn't a schism.
Right, yeah, because Christianity is just Judaism, but with extra steps.
Yeah.
Well, / different steps, whatever.
And, like, Jesus was hyped up as King of the Jews.
Okay, here's the thing, right? The only reason I know the... I hear music. Yeah, it's my brother being an ass.
Okay.
The only reason I know the difference between Christianity and Judaism is because of Futurama.
Okay.
When they sneak into a bot mitzvah, and Fry goes up to the robot rabbi and goes, "Hey, so what's the deal with you guys? Do you just not believe in Robo-Jesus?" And the robot rabbi goes, "We believe that he was built and that he was a very good robot, but he was not our messiah." And that's the reason why I know the key difference.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Because I don't care about religion. I disrespect all of them equally just by not believing any of them. I have tattoos. I'm not allowed in any religions.
Well, yeah. Some more than others.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, where were we on this one? We get the Convocation of the Gods in this one, don't we?
We do. And much like much of the fan base, I got really pissed off with this scene.
Yeah, because there's only like 5 of them.
There's only like 5 of them, but more importantly, they could have won here and there if they just let Stephen out.
Yeah.
Because Stephen is actually quite eloquent and can phrase his argument quite well. In fact, he can say, "I'm not Mark Spector or Khonshu, and this is all that happened." to me personally. This guy tried to kill me because of Armit bullshit.
Yeah. And, like, I don't know if they could get someone to swear truth in there because, well, obviously not, because they can just have Harrow just bullshitting.
Yeah, Harrow gets on my nerves. But he's meant to, so it's fine.
Yeah, he's the villain. He's meant to. But yeah, in the trial scene, we get pretty much a unanimous condemnation of Khonshu. Khonshu gets imprisoned in a chess piece.
No.
Well, it's in the second time they come back.
Yeah, but that's not till episode 4.
Was it not an episode? Was it not?
Oh, sorry. 3? It happens at the end of this episode and at the beginning of the next episode. You know. But I feel like there's more that happens in between, so I don't know why you jumped straight to it. Is more my point.
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
I conflated the two in my head.
Before they tell him, hey, fuck with the sky again, and I think it's specifically Horus or Ra, I forget which one that says this. Fuck with the sky again, because that's my shit, and you're in trouble.
So guess what?
Yeah. But before that, Layla actually has a hint and goes to, it's not her ex, but it's someone she knows very well. And they go there, they find the sarcophagus and therefore the mummied remains of this guy whose name doesn't really matter. It's a dude who knows where Armit is buried, and they find the sky map.
Mm-hmm.
But we also get this great moment where Mark refuses to relinquish the body to Stephen during the bit that they need Stephen. And then Stephen manages to take over while they're in the middle of fighting these jousting guys. Well, it's not jousting, it's an Egyptian form of it. And it looks really interesting. We don't get to dwell on it too much because Stephen very quickly, while he's in Moon Knight uniform, goes, guys, we can talk this out. Gets speared about 4 times and goes, Mark, I'm sorry, you can have the body back.
Yeah. Like, that entire section was designated villain. Because this could have gone really well and really without a hitch if everyone was, on the same side, but they're not. Like, the guy is a collector, he wants to keep his shit. And
well, here's the
our
thing.
heroes want to mess with it.
Again, if Mark had gone as Stephen, he could have come up with some bullshit Egypt talk and just said, okay, yeah, this is what I want to look for. But, not obviously what he wanted to look for, but, bullshitted like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And then when he was fucking with the thing and people saw him fucking with the thing, it would have been like, of course he's fucking with the thing. He's looking for XYZ.
Yeah, rather than I'm fucking with something that's priceless, literally priceless, because there is only this of it in the universe.
Yeah, and the only reason Mark even got so far is because Stephen was talking to him in a reflection, and Stephen didn't even need to do that, but even he acknowledged, I might not be in control, but Armit really does need to be stopped, though.
Yeah, I think this is the time when Stephen is actually coming round to actually helping, because before this he just wanted the relationship to end and for him to just have his body back.
One of the agreements very early on was, hey, if you help, you've got to go away, and Mark's like, that's fine.
Yeah. And it's one of those, like, as far as we're concerned, this is the contract. Like, they are antagonistic towards each other at this point and at most points, and it's only really, like, the second half of the series that they're approaching friendly towards each other.
It takes murder.
Yes. It literally does, yeah.
But yes, we get the obvious conundrum of, well, it's not that obvious, but it is in hindsight, of they look at the night sky and they assemble the map and they go, oh, fuck, the night sky would have been completely different 3,000 years ago.
Yeah, and Khonshu goes, I remember that night. That was the night that I boned the friendly lady god.
Don't think he says that or even implies it.
Well, they used to be very close.
Yeah, but Khonshu never says that.
No, he doesn't say it, but it's like, I remember that night perfectly because he spent it with her, is what I read into it.
Don't remember him saying that, but again, it's been 3 weeks.
It has. It's been time.
But yeah, But it's one of those annoying things where I think I even noted it down of, I'm pretty sure if they took, like, I know they were against the clock, but if they took more time than none, I'm sure they could have found a different answer.
A different issue, yeah.
a different solution that wouldn't have required Khonshu being entombed in stone.
Yeah.
Thanks for the bless you, Rick.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I just mocked you instead.
I
You
know.
can be blessed if you like.
I'm well aware. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
The world
Okay.
knows how inconsiderate you are.
It's okay.
You can't
I think
see if you can't see if you're listening, but he's flipping me off right now.
No, just under the table. I mean, you don't believe in the mumbo jumbo anyway, so being blessed is more of a curse.
It's just polite, motherfucker. I don't say bless you because I'm doing that old school shit of thinking the soul is escaping the body, which, by the way, is why people say bless you.
I think wasn't it because it was the bubonic plague, and
No,
if you
originally it was fucking crazy Christians thinking the soul was escaping the body with a sneeze, so people would say bless you, and it would make the soul retreat back into the body.
Okay. I thought it was during the plague, and if you sneezed, that was the first clue that you were going to die in a couple of days. So if someone blessed you, then at least you had that as your...
No, that doesn't make sense for many reasons, mostly because a lot of things can make you sneeze.
Yeah, but around that time...
But this existed before, is what I'm saying.
Sure. But yeah, we get to the tomb of Alexander the Great.
Yeah, and Fate's fans rejoice, I think is the exact wording I put. I actually didn't bother doing my further research, but I was actually unaware that Alexander the Great had Egyptian burial rites performed on him, but I also acknowledge that, again, Marvel just does shit that seems cool, so that might not actually be accurate.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, according to Marvel lore, he always wanted to be referred to as Egyptian rather than Macedonian.
I don't think that's true in real life, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, right? And then the only reason that they know that it's Alexander the Great is because it also has Macedonian script there.
Yeah. When they said Macedonian script, I went, that's weird. There's only one famous Macedonian that matters, and that doesn't make any sense.
So yeah, he was revealed to have been the last voice of Amit.
Which I don't like for many reasons, but whatever. And
it also kind of implies that, well, it's one of those. She says that her last avatar has balanced scale, and she got entombed in stone for it. But she ended up entombed in stone as a result of that.
Yeah, but the reason I don't like it is it implies that the only reason Alexander the Great was able to conquer as much shit as he did is because he had illegal help from a god.
Yeah.
By the way, can we talk about this fucking Marvel trope that gets on my tits?
Go ahead.
Here, we're introducing this new all-powerful force that's all-powerful and can do anything. Oh, but we are sworn to just watch because fuck you.
Yeah.
Happened with the fucking... what are they called? The Immortals? No.
Yeah, the Eternals are the most egregious about it.
Yeah, we got Eternals, we got the fucking Council of Gods, we got pretty much every person who gets introduced as a new mega face. Just like, why haven't you done anything before now? I swore to only observe.
Yeah. The Watcher.
The Watcher's
the big one.
The Watcher's fine because he sticks to it.
Yeah. Apart from the one time that he doesn't.
Yeah, but the only reason he doesn't stick to it is because he doesn't want to die.
Yeah. And also, the guy is infiltrating all of the other universes by that point.
Like, it's really frustrating in that one episode with Widow and Hawkeye. It's just like, it's there. I can do a wind and blow it over, but I must not interfere. And, you know, I bet he wish he fucking interfered quicker after when Ultron punches him in the face.
Yeah. Sorry. That was a quiet burp, but it's gonna come up on the waves. Sorry.
That's okay. I've sneezed already.
Yep. But yeah, we get some tomb stuff. They go down the throat of Alexander the Great, and then Harrow comes in because, of course, he does.
And he glocks a motherfucker.
Yeah, he does.
And I think his exact words were, "I can't save those who don't want to be saved."
Yeah, and for those of you who think they know what's going on, the final scene will just prove to you, no, you don't. So we get the first shot of the afterlife.
I really fucking dug this, more so in retrospect, because they played with the trope very well. because
Yes.
this isn't the first time we've had, oh, it was all a dream all along and they're actually just a mental patient. And it's like, obviously, this is a flip in that actually that's the made-up world.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
It's a very nice play on it, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally.
And,
like we've, like you say, we've seen the all just a dream thing before, and me and my folks, we were basically going, if they pull the all just a dream card, I'm going to flip a table.
That's fair. That is the usual response. Rick, you actually revealed to me not too long ago that until the credits, until he got referred to as Harrow, you didn't actually recognize Ethan Hawke as Ethan Hawke.
No, I didn't. So, like, I'm not a Western guy. I take things as they come. I didn't know that the doctor that was referred to as Harrow was Harrow, or was meant to be Harrow, until either somebody referred to it as him, or the subtitles referred to it as him. Like, when the subtitle gives you a
it says Harrow. Boo.
Player name, blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I have a heavy suspicion that what actually happened is Ethan Hawke saw Oscar Isaac doing all of these characters and went, I can do that too. Even though
the guy's a goddamn chameleon, like change hair, put glasses on, give himself a mustache, and complete shift in demeanor. I think the only thing the two characters, as it were, have in common is they both use a cane.
Yeah, but that's obviously done deliberately.
Yeah, it's the one thing that ties it together for us as viewers.
It's really odd, actually, because I had the pretty much the opposite reaction as you, in that when Ethan Hawke appeared as Harrow at first, I was like, I know that person, because he looked different. Because him in his psychiatrist look is what he usually looks like.
Okay.
apart from the little mustache.
You said to me when I said this, and you said, well, I knew it was Ethan Hawke because that's what Ethan Hawke looks like.
Yeah. I've never seen that fucker with long hair, so it was really odd when he was, Harrow with the hippy dippy hairstyle.
Yeah, wavy gravy.
Yeah. And we get our first hints that Stephen Grant is the made-up persona when the first view we get is Mark Spector watching a movie of an adventurer called Stephen Grant. Although this might be in the next episode. I can't remember. I think there was a little bit.
It's the beginning of the next episode when we're introduced to Dr. Harrow and all that. The end of 4 is just the hippo.
Yes, but we do have at least one session with Harrow.
Oh, yeah. But, like, the end of episode 4, when he gets shot and dies and goes to the afterlife, the only bit of the afterlife we really see is the hippo.
Okay, sure. I think I might be getting confused. I think the end of episode 4, we might see a poster for the adventures of Stephen Grant in the background. I definitely remember there being a reference to it in episode 4 at the very least.
Okay.
We also get our second look at Jake Lockley.
Yeah, as a sarcophagus.
Because we got Stephen out of a sarcophagus.
Yep.
And then when we see this other one and it's just rattling with rage and it's got a slight red tint, you're like, open it, please. And
that's your number 3.
And like, again, they're not being subtle that that's the number 3 because, again, it's the way Stephen was kept.
Yeah, like even the start of episode 6 in the last time on Dragon Ball Z bit, they just show the third sarcophagus.
Yeah, which in hindsight, we know why they did that.
Yeah. Like, my dad would not shut the fuck up about the third sarcophagus.
I don't blame him. It's the most interesting part.
Yeah. Well, I liked the working your way through the history in that episode where, like, we are very definitely episode 5 now of going through the.
Before, can we just hold one moment? Why is that hippo so cute?
It's the voice.
But why is it so cute? It overpowers the appearance of a hippo, which we know are killers.
Yeah, it's the voice and the ears twitching.
Maybe. But it's so... the way she reacts to Stephen and Mark screaming is just, hello. It's precious.
I think she says hello and then they scream.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And I think when we get to the next episode, Stephen goes, hippo.
But yeah, this is also the first time we've seen Stephen and Mark as separate entities.
Yes. Well, if you don't count the mirror shit, yes. Which
Well, as separate entities that can touch each other, and they hug each other to scream at the hippo.
To be fair, even if it wasn't a magic talking hippo, hippos are scary.
Yes, they are.
They are more deadly than crocodiles. If you take out insects and shit like that, they are the deadliest animal in Africa.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Africa's a big place.
They don't even eat people. They just get really territorial and are very good at being territorial.
Yeah, and the worst thing is their sweat is pink, so whenever you see them in the water, they look like they're swimming in blood.
Yeah. But yeah, we get to see the origin of Stephen Grant.
This episode is a real gut punch, and again, I joked about the retail shit being too real, and then you got this shit where I'm sure there's people who saw this episode and had flashbacks.
Yeah, there's instances of abuse for things that were basically beyond a child's control.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't want to completely shit on Mark's mother in that a traumatic event like that
it does fuck you up.
It's entirely believable that will fuck someone up, and it's not the person's fault. However, that doesn't give blanket forgiveness, because there's no excuse to whack a child with a belt.
No, like you don't strike a child like that, and you don't make it the rest of your life's goal to make the child's life hell.
And honestly, my heart aches mostly for the dad.
Yeah, because the dad's like, he's lost a son, and he's seen another son be driven away by a woman who he still loves.
It's one of those where I think the flashback where Mark is pissing off to join either the military or his first mercenary band, it's hard to tell which, the exact conversation he has with the dad is the dad says, I can't lose another son.
Yeah, absolutely. And as usual, the dad gets progressively younger as the scenes progress. Like, he goes from being a believably aged dad to being basically the same age as Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, well, that's only so much you can do, isn't there? But
yeah, totally.
It's one of those where before we get to the meat of the actual point where Stephen and Mark can no longer be separate, I do just want to touch on another thing that the Marvel Reddits in particular have been fucking arguing over.
Okay.
Worst parent in the MCU. They immediately put this woman at the top, and it's like, oh, not even close. Yeah, she is a cunt, but you can explain it. And I think the reason why it hits a lot of people is, again, that realness factor. But you've got Thanos, who literally sacrificed the daughter he enjoyed and completely tortured and fucked up the other one.
Because he had a very clear favourite, and that's never okay.
No. And then you've got fucking Ego.
Yeah.
Who had many a child and killed all of them except for Quill because he had the powers that he wanted. And even then, he only wanted those powers to serve as like some kind of weird form of battery.
Yeah, basically just food for the next few years.
And also, put a tumour in his wife's head.
Because otherwise he wouldn't have been able to stand to leave.
Even though, he's immortal.
Did immediately.
Well, it's like he's immortal and she's not. There's only going to be like 30, 40 years anyway, bud.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress a little bit. But yeah, not even close. Even Odin's probably worse.
Considering what human beings know about Odin in regular mythology.
Well, I meant Odin in MCU exclusively.
Sure.
He's a dick to Hel and Loki, and he wonders why they turned out the way they did.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. Apparently the Odin son way is to be extra as hell and be absolute super drama queens when drawing daggers. And it's just Thor that's the odd one out.
Yeah.
But yeah, the culmination of the mom storyline is the funeral.
Yes, you got Mark drinking out of a obvious container that clearly has whiskey, but they don't say that so they can get away with it. And the dad spotting him out the window and beckoning him in, and you just get that shake of the head. And like, I don't think it can be understated how much power and determination it took Mark just to get that far.
Oh, absolutely. Like, a funeral like that is normally to make sure someone's dead.
Yeah, I guess so. It's a weird one, but my heart breaks when he turns into Stephen down the road.
Yeah, and he doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know why he's there, and he rings his mum.
And I'm
this,
not gonna
it closes the loop.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I fucking cried.
Yeah, it closes the loop. This is why he's always leaving voicemail messages to his mum, ending them with a good old laters gators, and why he never gets any response, because obviously she's long dead by that point.
Yeah, but about at most 2 months, but that's still fresh.
Yeah.
But then we get that part where we get another scene with Harrow, and Stephen's out, and he doesn't know what the fuck's going on, and Harrow just reminds him that his mum is in fact gone, and my heart gets crushed again.
Yeah, because even Dr. Harrow is going, "Would you like to speak to her?" And he pretends to ring her up, and then passes the phone to him, and it's just the dial tone. It's like, yeah, she's gone.
Which, I'm not a therapist, but I'm not sure that's something you should do.
Yeah, that does seem unreasonably cruel for someone who's meant to be sympathetic in the moment. Like, okay, it's Harrow. He's not a good guy.
Yeah, but it's implied that Dr. Harrow is.
Yeah, Dr. Harrow is meant to be at least
trying to assist.
Yeah, at least even trying to perform his role.
Even when Mark gets violent and he gets the 2 bodyguards in, he's like, don't hurt him.
Yeah.
When he's being dragged away. Like, he's meant to be a sympathetic role in this particular part. Obviously, as viewers, we know that's not true, but, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it ends when Taweret is driving them towards the gate. Is it towards the gate of Osiris?
She says it's the gate of Osiris, but it seems to depend on Osiris where that gate is, as we find out in episode 6.
Yeah. And the idea is if you fall into the sands of the Duat,
you're frozen and claimed by them.
Yeah, you just turn into sand, and but also zombies come out of the Duat and board the boat that are all Mark's victims.
Yeah, they take the form of Mark's victims because Mark's victims are implied to be villains and not pure of heart, because that's Khonshu's way. So of course they've been claimed, and of course they're the form that the sand takes when it's time to claim him back. I mean, shit, there is that one room where, in the Mind Palace, as it were, where it's just filled with dead bodies and it's all people Mark has dealt with. And we get that awful moment of like half a minute where Stephen goes, "Did you kill a child, Mark?" And obviously we find out, no, that's just young Mark. But, not young Mark, sorry, young Mark's brother, where Mark feels guilty for the death, even though there's no way it could have been his fault.
Yeah, we also pretty much see the moment that it happens as well.
That's not a kind death.
No, it's not. It's not. And they have to make Mark relive it as well. Which, I'm sure he's been doing every day since the day it happened.
That's why Stephen exists.
Yeah. And to Mark's credit, in the creation of Stephen, he completely left the brother out so he wouldn't have to suffer any pain from it.
To be fair, I don't think that's something you have conscious control of.
True, but,
Ignore any shouting you hear in the background. I have no control over it.
On the plus side, Discord isn't picking it up, but
that's that's not what matters, is it?
No, it's no consolation to you, or indeed the viewer, or the listener.
Yeah. But yeah, it's bad times. But again, it's somewhat an element of realism to the condition that they're using in DID, in that it is always born from a traumatic experience, pretty much exclusively as a child, because adults don't quite have the same way of coping with trauma. But for a child, it's very easy to go, this all gets bottled away into this.
Yeah. Like, adults can deal with things in adult ways. Children don't have those tools yet. But yeah, it's the moment when the scales do balance is when Stephen is claimed by the Duat.
Yes, but this is because my theory is Stephen is the one who created Jake. So when Stephen's heart is on the scale, it's not just Stephen's heart, it's actually Jake's heart, but we can't see Jake's heart because Jake's not out. So when Stephen's gets taken away, it also takes away Jake's, which means
Okay.
it's just Mark's on the scale. And as we know, Mark is fundamentally a good person because everyone he's killed and murdered has been bad, evil, needs to be taken out, at least by Khonshu's rules. And Khonshu kind of proves himself right in the terms of justice, in that
Yeah.
Mark's never killed an innocent, allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly, yeah. But yeah, his scales balance and he's allowed into the field of reeds,
Mm-hmm.
which, yes, is peaceful. However, you're the only one there,
But as we heard from, what's her name, Tawat?
Tawaret.
Tarawet, her exact description is, it's just what you wanted: solitude, loneliness, not loneliness, but being alone, no distractions, etc.
Yeah, a literal field of reeds that is just there for peace.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tawaret also mentions in the next episode that she's quite capable of going to other people's fields of reeds and like being friendly with them. She delivered Layla's father to the
Yes.
field of reeds after he was killed by Mark.
Mark's partner,
Mark's partner.
who does
When
who does have a name, and they use the same name as the comic books, but who cares? He didn't show up, so it don't matter.
yeah, yep. Like, if it weren't for the fact that he'd been definitely been shot and was crawling for his life, it's entirely possible that it could have been that it could have been Jake Lockley as the partner, and he was just trying to shield himself from
Oh
that.
yeah, it weren't that.
Yeah.
His name's like
Well,
Bushmaster or some shit.
Bushmaster. Okay, that sounds like a real name.
Yeah, but it's like his surname's Bushman or something, and it gets morphed because words are meaningless.
But yeah, the
Don't do that.
the whole point of going back to the Convocation of the Gods, which Harrow has broken into physically by this point.
Yes.
He found the pyramid that it's at and just like opened the bricks and just walked in. Layla follows, and oh yeah, Layla also gets caught in an AOE.
In what?
They do. Harrow does an AOE judgment.
Oh yeah, but you've got to bear in mind, Layla's just an archaeologist. She doesn't do the shit
Yeah.
Mark does.
Yeah. So she's definitely a good person. Like we get basically unequivocal proof that Layla is a good person. Like we knew that as viewers already.
But it's one of those
because she
things as
gets-
well, in that we know she'll always be a good person because Amit.
Yeah. She gets caught in the AOE of judging all of these guys, most of which are policemen, and only one of them isn't bent.
But again, we don't know what Amit's criteria is.
Yeah.
It's one of those annoying things where like anyone could fall victim to it. Like we had that 90-year-old fucking grandma fall victim to it, and she probably didn't have long to go anyway.
No.
What could she possibly have done? Did she steal her fucking neighbour's jam recipe? Was that worthy of death, Amit? Really?
But it also could have been in the past.
She claimed it to not be, but I do realise people can lie. But you know.
Yeah, she claimed it to not be, but also it might have been by different values.
Oh, right, yeah, she called some black bloke a slur.
Yeah. Like, or something like that, or like did something that was acceptable at the time that now no longer is, or just anything.
I can't really think
like that.
I can't think of much, you know. I can't think of much that would warrant death.
Yeah.
Aside from murder and or that other thing I don't particularly want to talk about because it's gross.
No. Oops, my headphones are.
Yeah, you might want to take care of your hair.
Yeah.
You're looking a bit boy, if that's how you look as a Super Saiyan, eh?
I'm going to see it on the playback in a moment. Yeah.
Hey man, I could have not said anything.
Yeah, I've started giving myself a high
If you want, I could put
hair
your
tie.
replacement face on.
No, it's fine. I've given myself a high hair tie because that hides my mosquito's landing patch.
Yeah, oh, well, I need a special comb for this shit. A luxurious mane, and I dread the day I lose it.
Yeah. Well, 36 is my
I got a good
the
track
end of the line
record.
for me,
My
yeah.
one of my granddads had very thick hair, and then my dad didn't ever lose his hair apart from when he got the chemo, but that's like extraneous circumstances.
Yeah.
So touch wood.
Yeah, I had one granddad who had a comb over that started from further and further back, to the point that he could wave hello without using his hands, just by being in the wind and going. Woo.
See, there's a certain point where you should just shave.
He looked so much better when they did it for him in the hospital.
Well, it's like Krillin.
Yeah. He looked so much better as Mr. Burns rather than someone who was struggling to emulate something that was never true.
Yeah, episode 6. We're nearly done. Let's power through.
Yeah. Layla gets contacted by Tawaret saying, do you want to be my avatar? I've always wanted an avatar, and you sound really nice. Your dad spoke really highly of you. And she's like, no signing lives away to gods. Like, I've seen where this gets people. It makes them miserable for the rest of their lives. She says that with a lot more force when Khonshu tries to do it to her.
Yeah, because Khonshu is fundamentally a good god. However,
he's very manipulative in being so.
Okay, so, well, I think the big one is literally at the end of the finale where.
For fuck's sake, 1 second.
Yeah, no worries. I'll tag away. Yeah, we'll be right back momentarily, guys.
Oh no.
No. Do we need to be right back?
No, we don't need to be right back. Although I do need to refocus my camera because
this will be great for the audio listeners.
Yeah, you're going to hear a lot of fucking buzzing as my fucking phone starts ringing.
Yeah, because Rick's phone is dumb and doesn't have an actual silent mode. The silent mode is
silent
still
mode
buzzes.
Is buzz louder than volume 1 of actually ringing.
Whereas my silent mode means I get nothing. I get a bright light on my phone, a little light blue light shines there.
Yeah.
It's like,
I've
you have
actually
a text?
finally been able to silence Facebook Messenger. But you can only do it for 24 hours at a time, so...
You see, I just don't have Facebook Messenger.
I've got some people that only contact people through that, so, you know...
That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, so are they.
Wow, that was said with a straight face too, kudos. But yeah, Khonshu actually does try to get Layla to be her avatar, his avatar, I should say.
Yeah.
And fails, and rightly so, because I would have been quite annoyed if Layla had gone yes, even agreed slightly with him, because she's seen the shit he does.
Yeah, she's seen that not only is he manipulative like that, but also she's seen the whole one more mission thing. Like, Mark has told it to the viewer.
Yeah.
And I think to Stephen.
Yes, he told it to Stephen at the same time as the viewer.
Yeah. And, well, yeah, it was to Stephen in order to tell it to the viewer.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is always one more mission, and then you'll finally be free, and it's just perpetual.
Yeah, because the problem is, Khonshu's telling the truth. He said, one last mission and you'll be free, but he's also said in no uncertain terms, by the way, when I let you go, I'm taking Layla.
Yeah. Until the final scene that we get, and he goes, he was so fixated on me taking his wife for my next avatar. Everything I need right here.
It's one of those where the whole reason why he's so okay with everything is like he knows he's still got basically Mark Spector, but better.
Yeah. More violent, more in tune with what he wants, more able to just turn a blind eye to any wrongdoing and just glee in bloodshed.
I mean, hell, we've touched on it now, so let's just get straight to it. Khonshu in a suit looks dapper as fuck.
Oh, he does. Yeah.
And I was hoping this end credit scene would involve the Punisher, and it seemed like we might have been going that way until they got to the
didn't.
Well, when they got to the limo, I was like, okay, it's probably Jake. And then it was. And he looks crazy unhinged.
Apparently there was a recent comic where Khonshu is just getting a murder boner for the Punisher.
Yeah, possibly.
And Mark goes, why don't you just take him instead? And Khonshu goes, oh, I really want to, but he's already been claimed by another.
What does that mean?
Like, another god is basically watching over the Punisher and making sure he doesn't die.
That sucks. I don't like that.
No, because it takes away from his badass normal status of everything he does is like it's the limit of human willpower, but it is still human willpower.
Yeah, that implies the only reason he got as far as he did is not because he's that good of a soldier. It's mystical forces bullshit.
Yeah, well, it might just be similar to what we see in Moon Knight of you don't get super strength. You don't get he gets the flight, but the idea is that you get a get out of jail free card from dying when you really kind of should have.
Oh, still sucks.
Yeah.
Not for Punisher. That's not the point of the character.
No. But yeah, we get to see Amit in her true form.
Yeah, and unlike the hippo, I was not even remotely thinking this thing was cute.
Yeah, she's not meant to be. She reminds me a little bit of Malal, being like crocodile faced and everything.
Yeah, don't know who that is.
She is meant to just be a crocodile, so. And yeah, like you say, she's meant to be the one that the evil souls get fed to. And this happens in this as well, when they just AoE blast judgment in around all of Cairo.
Yeah, except it's not quite as powerful as you think it would be, because they still need the cult members to go around and manually judge people.
Yeah, the cult members go around judging people, the bad ones get the souls ripped out, and then she just eats them all and becomes a kaiju.
Yeah, which, you know me.
Yeah. And then Khonshu goes to fight her at the same size without having eaten souls.
I think that was just Amit. Amit's been locked away for a while. Maybe she needs to regain a bit of power. Khonshu's been locked away for about 5 minutes.
Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, about 5 minutes, yeah.
The kaiju fight scene was well choreographed. I enjoyed it. Obviously, it's not to the level of dumb kaiju bullshit that Godzilla is, that I know and love, but it was fine.
Yeah.
Well, that was
the best part of the kaiju fight was how much it was simultaneous with most of the human-sized fighting as well.
I was just going to get to that. Yeah, in fact, it absolutely was. But I also liked how there was a proper discussion between Khonshu and Amit while fighting, which is something anime needs to fucking learn. You can fight and talk, but the fact that Amit was constantly like, "You can just walk away, Khonshu," and Khonshu's like, I can't. And Amit's like, I want the same thing that you do, and Khonshu does the whole thing of like, no, they need to have committed sin before you can judge them.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I think...
Like, even a thought. Like, the whole point of Amit's judgment is that you can even be judged as evil for having an evil thought.
That's bullshit. But,
how many people have not thought about killing their boss?
I've never thought of killing my boss. I thought of, like, punching them once or twice, but never killing. Okay. I think that comes with the territory of not believing in an afterlife. In that you might think twice about killing someone because then that's just it. At least that's my take.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway. It's actually very interesting because we can draw a few parallels to Civil War 2. In that, in the comics, there was a second Civil War.
Yes, there was.
This one involved aliens from space could see the future, sort of, but not really, is what we find out later on. But he sees something in the future, and that thing in the future is he sees Miles Morales killing Captain America. Mm-hmm. So Captain Marvel goes, okay, cool, we're going to lock up Miles Morales, and he's not allowed out, and that way that doesn't happen. And then Spider-Man Peter Parker is like, hold the fuck on.
Yeah.
He's not done anything wrong. You can't do that. So the Civil War isn't quite Peter Parker versus Captain Marvel, but they're the two focal points. And we learn later on that this guy's psychic future vision is not 100% flawless.
Well, also, it was in the period where Captain America was the Hail Hydra cap.
This came before.
I'm pretty sure the idea was it was that one.
This story, even so, murder's not okay. But
No.
This story came out long before that.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, anyway. Could be getting my timelines mixed up. Who knows? Either way, the guy's psychic ability was not flawless, and in fact, quite fallible. Yeah. So the whole reason of they used this guy's power to lock up people before they did shit, which is not okay. That's Nazi shit.
But yeah. What more is in here?
Layla's costume as the Avatar.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Layla gets a cool costume as an Avatar. It's a real cool costume. She has no helmet.
No.
But that's okay. Because otherwise, how would you know that she's Layla? And how would the kid on the street know that she's Egyptian?
Yeah. My exact words in my notes were that kid, more of a teenager really, had their gay awakening and then, oh no, they're in Egypt, so never mind. But going back to the costume, they revealed the costume in a pretty cool shot, and I was going, that's really weird how much arm is exposed, considering they've still got shit on their arms. And then she had the wings come out, and I went, nah, fuck it, it's cool, never mind.
Yeah. And like you put in your notes, just like in Falcon and Winter Soldier, you can always get a wing boner when the wings pop out.
Yes. And when she used them as a shield, I was very much like, oh, yeah, that's the shit I want to see.
Yeah, that's the Falcon shit. And also, because she's a strong female character, it's the Wonder Woman shit as well.
I guess.
It made me think more of Wonder Woman than Falcon, despite being literally something that Falcon does. Which is really weird, because I guess it's something gold and used to defend against bullets.
I guess. I mean, it's in Marvel, and I like Falcon, therefore, that's the connection I drew.
Yeah. Falcon, now Captain America.
Yeah.
And they're still writing Captain America 4, I believe, now.
Sure. I want more Bucky and Falcon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what else. Oh, right, cool. Can we talk about the final fucking decision that's still dumb?
Go ahead.
Of Moon Knight and Layla have Harrow. They've put Amit inside, and Khonshu's like, cool, now kill him, and it gets rid of both of them. And they decide to have a moment of, yeah, no, we don't want to do that. And it's like, why don't you want to do that? You've seen the shit they do.
Yeah, it is a bit weird.
They want to stress it's our choice thing. And I'm like, fine, that's a direction to go, but not with this character.
Yeah. Because all he's going to focus on after that is getting Amit out again. There is one other thing that I would say is weird, and that's they showed Harrow not being able to see Khonshu early on.
I think the implication is because Amit is now out and he's an avatar.
Okay, he's the real avatar now, rather than just inheriting something from...
It's stand logic, man.
Cultist. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Like, he's a user, so now he can see the other stands.
And the other one is that they mentioned that Mark would definitely have been eaten based on his transgressions earlier by getting his brother killed. Like, if Amit was around before his brother was killed, then Mark would have been gone, and the brother would have survived. Except that we see already by that point that Mark has been able to get to the Field of Reeds with a balanced heart. So it is possible to change your balance.
Again, no. That's different, you see. Because we don't know what Amit's criteria is.
Okay, so yeah, it's Amit's criteria versus Anubis's.
Pretty much, because, Anubis is the actual judge, whereas Amit is meant to be the executioner, basically, for those unworthy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's it's a weird one.
It is a bit, yeah. So, should we get to our final three?
Can we not talk about that last shot one? One final time. The only reason I forgive the Harrow shit is because it does mean we get the epic final shot
Yes.
of the reveal that every fan was waiting for, and that was Jake.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he speaks Spanish by the sounds of it. I think that was Spanish.
Yeah, and the registration number on his limo is Spectre.
Oh, that's great. I didn't catch that one.
Yeah, yeah. His white limo.
But yeah, it's an interesting take because again, originally he's a cab driver, so they've just slightly changed it to limo driver. It's not that much different when you think about it.
The professional chauffeur for Khonshu.
Khonshu looking dapper as fuck in that suit, and
He did, yeah.
Ethan Hawke doing a magnificent job of looking absolutely shit scared when he realizes that, oh, that's Mark Spector. Why did he say Jet? But the amount of glee on Jake's face when he was about to pull the trigger. Fucking kudos to Oscar Isaac once again.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Right, now I think we're actually done.
Yeah, I think so. So let's get into our final three. Do you have a favorite moment?
I really, really, really enjoyed when we saw Hippo Lady for the first time. It really made me smile.
Yeah.
What was it, Tawaret, you said?
Yeah, Tower, yeah.
Yeah. I'm never going to remember that name. It's too many syllables.
Even though she's like an ancient Egyptian god, she still talks with a prim and proper British accent.
Listen, it's another case of I'm not a furry, but
I feel you. It's a weird one where hippos are mammals, but they don't look like it.
yeah,
Because you expect most mammals to be, hairy. At least this hairy.
yeah, I guess, but they're they're aquatic.
Yeah.
And elephants and rhinos.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to flip the question. Well, they're aquatic again.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll flip the question back at you. Favorite moment?
Is it okay to say all of episode 5?
No.
Like, I really okay. But like the whole idea of exploring the mindscape as the purpose of the a small afterlife, and it's an afterlife personal to the person experiencing it, and it only lasts as long as it takes before they get to the gates, and they're either balanced or not.
I feel you, but I think naming an entire episode is against the spirit of the questions. Do you want to narrow it down a little bit more?
I'm going to narrow it down specifically to reliving the memories. Stephen reliving Mark's memories through the medium of doors.
Still pretty big, but it's better than the first one.
And if we narrow it down further, I'd probably say the moment that Stephen was born, as it were.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that one.
Because it shows that the main character that we've been following since episode 1, as TV viewers only, is not the real main character, even though they share protagonist roles, which is fine. But the one that we've been trained to accept as the number one, with the other guy being the number 2, isn't the original. That's a pretty good way of letting us know that, and also that by this point it kind of doesn't matter, because even though they have their disagreements, they are very definitely on the same side by this point.
I also just want to say, I think we didn't just witness the birth of Stephen in that scene. I think we also saw the birth of Jake, in that Stephen only has good memories of his mother.
Yeah, so Jake is the one that takes the beatings.
But exactly, because when we cut we cut away because no one wants to see that, but also like Stephen remembers his mum as a saint, as an angel, and yet when we were cutting away, she was about to lever him with a belt.
Yes.
So he can't have been the personality that was in control during that.
Totally.
Something I just want to touch on very quick as well, looping back a little bit. I know we're in the wind down segment, but one thing I do want to touch on, which I forgot to bring up, is the fight scene where Mark and Stephen are both now kind of in control together.
Yeah, that was basically my number 2, where you switch between one suit and the other just to show which one was which.
I really did like the choreography of that final fight scene. However, I really didn't like Stephen and Mark constantly swapping during a fight.
I get it, but yeah, fair enough.
As a concept, I'm like, that's kind of eh. As a visual, fucking awesome, and it's
Mm.
very cool to see the difference in skill level. Even though here's the problem with having 6 episodes: is you don't have enough time to show development. Stephen just can suddenly fight now, which is kind of out of left field, but whatever. And it is still cool to see Stephen tag to Mark, and Mark just owning shit because Mark knows what he's doing.
Yeah. It's one of those, you got more time in 6 episodes than you do in a movie.
Absolutely.
So,
but like this 6th episode felt rushed.
Yeah. Like, Eternals would have been way better as a 6 episode series than a 3 hour movie, for instance.
Oh, I would have just not even gone that far, just 2 2-hour movies.
Maybe.
Have all the past shit in the first
yeah.
one, have all the recent shit in the next one. However, I don't think sorry.
Either one would have sold.
I think the first one would have sold, and then I think everyone would have gone, it's not worth seeing the second one, and I think that's probably what the Disney execs probably also saw.
Yeah. But yeah, we can't just talk about the good stuff. We have to talk a little bit about the bad stuff. Do you have a weakest link?
My weakest link is, as much as I enjoyed the series, and it's clearly setting up for season 2 of Moon Knight.
Yes.
I did not see any links with the rest of the MCU.
Yeah, we brought that up earlier, didn't we? Like, there's the only things that they say is they talk about Madripoor once.
Like, we could have used this to rope in the Punisher.
Yeah.
Or we could have had a scene where he gets contacted by an Avenger. Anything. Like, they can kind of get away with not having connecting strands in Falcon, Winter Soldier, WandaVision, and even Loki, because the entire series are themselves birthed from other MCU stuff. Whereas this, it's a start.
Yeah. It's one of those, I could see them maybe roping in somebody from Wakanda. If not the new actor for Black Panther, if they're going to have one, then something like that, because, Bast is in the gallery.
Yeah, but again, because of the comic book connection, I think Punisher would probably be the best way to go. Obviously, we can't use a connection to Widow because Widow's gone.
Yeah.
But
well, it depends when they set it.
Well, this is clearly set after the snap.
Yeah.
Probably after Endgame as well, come to think of it.
True enough.
But yeah, I'll flip it back to you. Do you have any weakest links? Or a weakest link, I should say?
My weakest link is probably how flimsy Amit's reasoning can be and how little it's defined.
It's one of those where gods are allowed to just have whims because they're that powerful. However, I've brought it up constantly in the episode of we don't
know her criteria.
Yeah.
If we did, then it'd be easier to defend, even as a villain.
Yeah. All we know is you commit evil either beforehand or in the future, then you must go, so your scales are balanced. But we don't know what Amit's criteria of good and evil are. We know Alexander the Great was perfectly balanced. We know Harrow is not.
Yep. Because we know we also know Alexander the Great. He was doing conquering. You can't do conquering with clean hands.
Yeah, but it's also implied that the reason why he was so able to conquer stuff easily is he used Amit's power, probably.
Maybe.
But yeah, it's not poor storytelling. It's only 6 episodes. You can only do so much. And also, we don't have the point of view of the villain. Hell, Amit only showed up herself personally in the second half of episode 6.
Yeah. Saying, to whom do I owe my release?
And
he just goes, it's me, your humble servant, to whom you owe nothing. Which is a very magnanimous way of being a patsy.
Yeah, but then he also immediately follows it up by, I know my scales are unbalanced and I need to die now, so just get it over with.
Yeah.
So it kind of balances out.
Yeah. But yeah, what about the final one, the MVP?
I think you're a fool if you don't say Oscar Isaac. Like, more so than any individual character. Like, it again, I know he's not the first actor to play multiple people. Like, you can point to James McAvoy in that Beast film, where he played like 23 people, and he did a magnificent job of it. This isn't unique to Oscar Isaac, but it's still amazing how with just facial fucking emotion he's managed to, like, you can tell when it's Stephen before he talks.
Yeah, just the body language.
Yeah.
Like the kind of just going for something, going, should I, kind of thing. Yeah. No secret, I'm going to say the same thing.
Oh, also, fuck you, anyone who says his accent's bad. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. We are certified British, and then we say it's okay, therefore it's fine. Get shit on internet. Bye. Man, if only we could end on that. Yeah, but we can't.
Dude, all you need to do is listen to the way he says bollocks.
Oh, bollocks. The fact that he says bollocks, like, that's not something that an American normally says.
True. Although it is in their lexicon.
Yeah. Like, although normally things like that are because they've heard a British person saying it and then looked into it and gone, oh, that's a cool thing to say. And then they pronounce it weird, like when they say twat.
That's a Canadian thing. Twat instead of twat, yeah?
Yeah, instead of twat.
Yeah.
A twat waffle.
Oh, fucking why? It just makes it sound more visceral than it needs to be. Twat's not better, but twat.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So, at the risk of overriding the MVP of Oscar Isaac, which is the obvious choice and justifiably so.
Oscar Isaac, we love you. Send us free shit.
Not even free shit. Just say hello. We have an email to say hello to.
Interesting to note, by the way, he is also an executive producer on the series, so he has more than no control over the character. So
that probably has something to do with how he was able to portray it.
Maybe so. Just saying. I don't know how much of a nerd he is, but if you know who Moon Knight is before Moon Knight came out, you're a fucking nerd.
Yeah. But yeah, that's gonna be it from us. If you liked the video or the podcast, if you're on YouTube, you've got the comments section down below. And if you're listening to us by audio, you have the email that you can reach us at, which would be at
Nonsense Review. Fuck. I'm not even drinking. I just slurred my words for no reason. nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. Once again, that is nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. I'm looking at Rick trying not to laugh at me.
Yep.
But yeah, please do send us emails. We like suggestions. As you can see, we've had a super long episode today. A lot to talk about, all fresh in our mind. This is going to be pretty much our new format for new Star Wars and Marvel content. Is we're basically going to move them to retros after they've aired, as opposed to doing a review on the first episode. And I think the next one we're going to be doing is probably Kenobi, and then Miss Marvel's after that.
Yeah, the idea is we're going to try and strike while the iron is hot, and as you've seen with this episode, it's full of spoilers, but that's kind of par for the course with something that finished yesterday.
I mean, like, even if you don't look at the description, the name of the podcast has Moon Knight in it. Yes. And, you know, you should probably use a bit of common sense. That being said, we will endeavour to probably make note that there's going to be spoilers and stuff at the beginning of episodes, which have spoilers. But, like, we're not going to do it when we do retros for FF12. That game's been out for 20 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, it's going to be goodbye from me.
And it's going to be goodbye from me. Can't wait to see more Moon Knight and Jake Lockley.
Bye.
Bye-de-bye.